The Shattered Veil has been out for a little over a week, and largely, the community seems pretty positive. But no map is perfect. So today, I brought on a few special guests to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly about this map and the state of the Zombies community. Let's dive in. Welcome to the show, everybody. So very, very grateful for your time. I really do appreciate it. And really, what I like to do, since this is the first time I've ever had this many guests on the show before, if you guys could just go around and introduce yourselves. And Clarky, we'll just start with you.
Hello everyone, I'm Clarky HJ. I do Call of Duty Zombies content with a bunch of my friends. I do a variety amount of content as well, and that's it. That's all I have to say.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here. Godzilla, go right ahead.
Yep, I am Godzilla. I also do Call of Duty Zombies content. And whatever I feel like talking about, that's what I'll do.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. All right, Legend. What's
you guys
going
are going to be
brother?
surprised about this one, okay? But I also make videos about Call of Duty Zombies. I know it's kind of crazy.
No way.
I yap for a living. No, not for a living, but I do yap on YouTube. So
That's my
I'm the Legend HD. That's my name, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And I probably should have said this before, but you could talk about like some sort of specialty if like you feel like you cover something better than other people, or some sort of passion you have about the mode, or you can even tell me what your favorite sandwich is. I don't care. You guys can talk a little bit more than that if you want to. So, Corborium, why don't you?
He's saying you're boring, is what he's saying, guys.
No, you guys.
Boring.
I want you guys to speak your hearts and minds. You know.
Gotta get warmed up.
Exactly. All right, Corborium, what about you? Tell us about yourself.
Well, believe it or not, just like everyone else here, I also do Call of Duty Zombies content.
Oh my God.
I focus and specialize on lore stuff. I talk about anything from Ether, Dark Ether, or Chaos, and that's my shtick. Perfect.
Actually, I think that's probably something we'll hit home on a lot today. Is the story. I think everybody here has pretty critical opinions, some harsh, some not harsh. I was checking out your guys' channels and stuff and seeing how you feel about things, just to kind of get a little bit of more background on each of you guys individually. And everybody seems to have kind of indifferent opinions about the story. So I definitely want to highlight that. But before we get into all that stuff, I guess I would really like to start off about really understanding, how do you guys feel about the current state of zombies? And you can maybe compare that in your head to something from maybe the BO3 era, the BO2 era, whatever kind of maybe your personal favorite era is, unless the modern zombies era is your personal favorite. But I know that that BO6 has caused quite a bit of contention inside of the community. So I'm just curious how you all feel about that. Godzilla, why don't we start with you for this question?
Well, I started with Black Ops, so that World at War, Black Ops era is always going to be my favorite. That can't ever be topped for me. But right now, I think it's okay. I mean, Black Ops 6, I would say, is just in general an improvement over Cold War. I'd say the biggest issue I have with modern zombies is that it feels like they're trying to appeal to so many different people at once, which, I understand, because they want as many people playing zombies as possible, and it's always kind of been the black sheep of Call of Duty, I guess you could say. So, like, I get it, but I feel like that also kind of brings the mode down a little.
Yeah.
Like making the I just did the video about the early rounds, but like making the early rounds kind of easier, lowering the damage that zombies do, makes it easier to survive. But to people like me who've been around for a while, that just kind of makes the game easier and a little bit more boring, in my opinion. Yeah,
I thought that was a really good video, and that is something I want to bring up when we talk a little bit more about gameplay, is the kind of scaling of rounds, and how like, is a round 10 in Black Ops 1 really the same as a round 10 in BO6? I would argue it's not. And so
I'll answer that for you.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's definitely not.
Definitely not.
But yeah, why don't you guys just popcorn around? Feel free to just kind of start talking after the other guy finishes. And Legend, you can start us off, and then Clarky and Corborium, you finish this question up.
I will say this, right? Because if we go specifically off the story, right? People have these expectations that this story is going to somehow top the Ether story, and I just don't think that's feasible. I just don't think that's possible. I'm not saying that the storytelling can't be on the same level, but nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Like, dude, the nostalgia that people feel for those older characters for that older game, like, is always going to be something really strong, and people are always going to hold on to that. And there's going to be a toxic part of that community that's going to hold on to that and not appreciate the new things that we have. It's kind of weird to get invested to the story when you hear about the things that are happening behind the scenes with the artificial intelligence and the voice acting and all things of that sort. It's kind of hard to get invested in characters when they can sound different map to map, or their motivations can change so quickly from map to map. So I still think that we're kind of in the phase of let it cook. I think that Kevin Drew, and when they marketed this new map, I'll talk about Shadowvale specifically, when they kind of said that there's going to be a lot of payoff and a lot of new questions, he kind of set this bar. And a lot of people kind of had these drastic expectations. And I think that he's just got to let the story kind of tell itself without him having to sort of put in artificial hype for it. So I just think that we're still in this kind of phase of we gotta let it cook. I've enjoyed the story. I think that the story is interesting, but I am a little nervous to see what comes next.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's me.
Well, go on.
Talk, Clarky.
No, I personally agree. I think this story is really wishy-washy. You know, I thought it was okay in Cold War Vanguard. I don't need to explain much. Modern Warfare Zombies, granted, you know, gameplay-wise it wasn't the best, but the story I did find was interesting in some parts. But Black Ops 6 has been interesting all around, with chaos aspects now coming into the Dark Ether story. I think that really hyped a lot of people up, expecting the story to go hard, but of course, when the Tomb came along with the Sentinel artifact, a lot of stuff didn't make sense. And literally what Legend said with the Shattered Veil, you know, with Kevin just saying there was going to be a lot of payoffs. It's just, I don't know. It's going in a weird direction. I don't know where it's going to go from at this point. Motivations are changing, but it's a weird standstill. But, you know, in terms of the game and where Zombies is as of right now, it's in a weird place, in my opinion, you know, because I started with World at War, but I wasn't really locked in with Zombies. I really started focusing on Zombies like 24/7 probably during Black Ops 3. And I think all of us can agree here that, or the majority of us, community out there, anyone watching this, can agree that Black Ops 3 was the peak, the golden time for the Zombies community, Zombies itself, all around.
And most active.
Yeah,
it was definitely, like, popularity-wise, it definitely was.
100%, yeah. And, you know, even past then, Infinite Warfare Zombies was alright to an extent for most people. You know, people liked Spaceland, but the DLC just didn't hit for people. And then, of course, Director's Cut, World War II was okay, and then BO4, you know, we all had the issues with BO4 launch. But overall, I think the game is actually an alright game. But that period in general was a great time for Zombies. I was really went from BO3 to where we are now. I've literally been focused on Zombies 24/7. And from where we are now, it's definitely not the same. It will definitely not reach the same heights as it did back then. They definitely can go for it. Can definitely, you know, it could definitely happen. But with Black Ops 6, I don't see it happening specifically with that game. But I'm open to all possibilities. I'm not saying it is impossible. It's just with the road it's going down, I'm just not sure. Because all these Dark Ether games, we have the same base mechanics these past 4 years. It's just game modes are changing, mechanics are changing just slightly, but the same base ideas are still there, which is boring to most people. But I don't know. That's just me personally. I'm enjoying the game. I'm sure a lot of people are enjoying the game, but something's missing. Something's missing. We just need to find it for Black Ops 6.
Yeah.
For me, I found that the gameplay for Black Ops 6 is maybe my favorite in the Dark Ether game so far. But I think after Cold War, and I am a Vanguard defender, but after Vanguard and Modern Warfare 3's plots, I feel it all was hyping up this game. And I think this game is not taking advantage of any of the storylines it has set up thus far. And for me, it's made Black Ops 6 really disappointing, especially when they started to bring in chaos, and they haven't really done much with chaos, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I feel like they do a lot of things for shock factor and not payoff.
Oh, yeah.
That's like, yeah. I can agree with the chaos thing, because they did the Sentinel artifact, right? It was on the smaller island, and then obviously in the end cutscene. And they do all these things where it's like shock factor, you know, oh, here's the Sentinel artifact. Oh, here's the ice staff. Remember that thing from back in the day? Oh, and don't forget about what's his name in Vanguard. And don't forget about this, and don't forget about Jensen and Ava, and all this crazy. And then they actually the payoff isn't there. Like they don't actually do anything with it.
Yeah.
You know what I
The
mean?
only payoff that I found in Shattered Veil was Weaver learning what he did to Richtofen, and I guess Sam, because she finally got what she wanted almost.
Oh wait, but we kind of knew. Like these are things we already knew. Like the payoff wasn't like a shocking. It wasn't like some new story revelation. It was okay. Weaver now knows what we know, and we knew Sam was going to turn the whole time. It was kind of obvious it was coming, but then she actually did it.
Twists.
So it was like, okay, but nothing was like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. Oh, that was out of left field, and it actually makes sense. It was just like that was out of left field, and it's there. But we're not going to do anything with it. I think that's kind of what I see.
Well, we still got a few maps though, so hopefully they can pull off something like that.
I think they can. I think they could.
I think they can.
They've just done it too late. Like for example, if you think about Black Ops 3 with Richtofen setting up the teleporter in the giant, and then Richtofen coming out of the teleporter and killing Richtofen, you're like, whoa. What is going on? Like, why are they killing each other? How is he killing his old self? And how are they even connected? This is so crazy because you're thinking about like origins from, happening just a few years ago. And then you get to this cutscene and that's like the setup and kind of like even a little bit of a payoff there. But then it like leads and it blossoms into this whole story about collecting the souls and the children and all that crazy shit. But
yeah, because we learn about it immediately a map later, like why they're doing it.
Exactly. Whereas within Black Ops 6, like you said, they just keep setting things up and they keep stacking ideas on one another, and to the point where there's so much happening to where I was actually thinking about this the other day. This doesn't even feel like the same story from Cold War. Like in a way, I know we have like Richtofen and Requiem, and they were in the prison, and that's kind of the last map it really felt connected was Terminus, but now. It's like we're going in a completely different direction, bringing in chaos. And it's like, I like these things. I like chaos, but why bring it in if you're not actually going to like do what chaos did?
Jump in the pool, bro. Go 100%. I don't know why they don't do that.
I was talking to a friend about that.
Why I said to Tarkinus, why is the ice staff in the tomb? Why is it there?
That's not explained, annoyingly.
It's there. Have fun.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
It doesn't even make sense in context of the map because there's like two things. One guy, the Optatus, I don't know how you say his name. He holds a staff of light, not ice. So I thought we would get the staff of raw, but no, it's Origins key jingles.
And that's in the tomb?
Yeah, and there's mention of a cult of Mithras, which is a cult of a light god, so another sun-related thing.
Well, also,
and they have a staff of ice. And they have a staff of ice.
Well, would have made more
that's
sense.
so funny.
Also,
I never knew that.
In the cutscene, it says like Cortifex did something with it's implying it's with the staff of Ra, right? So,
I think it's implied that, and it also implies that he made the Sentinel artifacts, or at least the Ra one.
Yeah. So it's like, why not use that? That's what I don't get. It seems like Treyarch is just pulling things out of every corner of the closet with all of their classic ideas, and I don't even entirely hate that, but you just have to make sure you're pushing things forward. And just to kind of circle back about the kind of the current state of zombies, Clarky and I think Legend, you were saying specifically about Kevin Drew coming out and saying, "Hey, this is going to have a huge payoff. We're going to answer a lot of questions." I just not to compare the whole Blundell thing and be like, oh, if Blundell did it, we wouldn't have been mad. I think the difference is when Blundell kind of teased things, or when we had marketing in the community coming from Treyarch and Activision, they did such a good job with this like tug of playing with the community, teasing the community, withholding things. They always knew how to tease the right bits of information. And then when we got in the map, we always had this like sense of wonder and discovery. Whereas now they don't do that with the marketing at all. They're doing creator calls. Like we haven't seen Kevin Drew since launch, really. They don't have any of these cool,
or Craig Houston.
Yeah. Or Craig Houston. They don't have they're not doing the like, those dev calls where they like they did in Citadel. So they're not even like doing that little game that Blundell used to do with the community in terms of the launch, leading up to the launch of a map. And I think that was a really big component in terms of building up hype. And then when we get to a place like Shattered Vale, when we get this payoff, it is a payoff.
You don't feel like it is a payoff. Like
it's just an exposition dump.
Drew said that.
It's an exposition dump.
That's something a lot of us probably already knew too.
Exposition dump, yeah, it is a good thing, and it's something we already knew. I agree with you when we say how it's not really about the person doing it right, but when I think of Blundell's marketing and Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, I think of like his mystery that he would talk in the community, not just Blundell, but just Treyarch in general. They would have the Zombies community be its own hype engine.
Exactly.
They would put out these little things that they would say. And I remember like something as simple as, and I don't know why this is an example that's coming to my head, but I remember them doing like an 8-minute call in between Dead of the Night and Ancient Evil. And Blundell at the end said, "It's all Greek to me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one sentence generated more interest in that second map than any of the blog posts or things that we're getting now. Because it feels like we're being like told what the map is instead of letting us discover it. I'm very happy that in the Shattered Veil, they didn't do that massive blog post showing pictures of every single room. They did like a little bit, but I'm very happy they didn't do that because I finally like went into a map not recognizing everything that's already there. You know what I mean? They did that with Terminus of Liberty. They did that with Citadel. They didn't do it with the Shattered Veil. I was very happy about that.
It seems
they are getting better, but man, how far would it go if Call of Duty did these like little teasers or these YouTuber interviews or these little things on their website or just something that isn't absolutely direct to the point, to the T. Like the best parts of Call of Duty marketing is when they are a little shady with it.
Yeah.
And Zombies can be its best friend. That's the thing. It gives it that will to do it.
Go ahead, Koborum. Go ahead.
I just love when they're, like you said, they're shady or cryptic. I think it even though I love when they tell me as much as they want to tell me, I also like that they can be a little cryptic and we get to figure it out ourselves. Like when the map didn't come out, Shattered Veil, we didn't know everything yet, and that made the map like 5 times more fun to me. So I got to learn everything as I was going. Well, for the previous maps, they gave full-on timelines of events. That's no fun. That should just be in the game.
That's no fun.
That's what the map is supposed to be for. The map is supposed to be a place where we discover timelines, we discover character quotes, we discover what's happening before and after. Like the map is itself the experience. Like it's not just about the gameplay. The gameplay is important. The gameplay is good, but you need to have exposition. Well, sorry, I shouldn't use that word. You need to have a good narrative inside of the map itself so that it can feed and bleed into those gameplay mechanics so that you can actually have a unique and like wondrous time experiencing them. And I just, even though I said it was kind of like an exposition dump at the end of Shattered Veil, even after Weaver finds out he killed his children or his wife and children, it doesn't even seem like it hit him that hard. And then they're just kind of like fighting a dinosaur. And then after that, they're kind of just like teaming up. Like I guess Carver did say "fuck you," but it didn't feel that tense anymore. It just was like, "Here we go. We're on our adventure."
I have a feeling
very quick. Oh, sorry.
No, I didn't mean to talk over you. I did see someone have a similar argument on Twitter, and my argument for that was with Weaver during Cold War. Some of the intel, we see how much that event haunts his mind, and when he's finally face to face with the man or with the consequences of his actions, he realizes I probably should just swallow my pride, hold this grudge back, and work with this guy and help him out, even though I still hate him and don't trust him.
Yeah, but he does it too effortlessly. He doesn't have any moment where he self-reflects about it.
I agree, it's very fast, but I think it's still in character, although I wish it was better.
Maybe there's intel that can support it. Sorry, go ahead, Godzilla. My bad.
I was gonna say, like, I do wish it was like a longer, maybe like a deeper conversation, even during that pre-boss fight cutscene. I kind of wish Richtofen got to talk to each member of that group individually to kind of justify his position, even if it wasn't a good argument from him, just to kind of temporarily win over their trust.
Because why did he do any of the others, like Carver? And
I thought of that. Why did he imprison the others? If he was trying to keep Weaver and Samantha under his thumb because of what they did, why also punish the other two? Why punish Gray? Why punish Carver? Why punish Strauss? Why do that?
I always figured he was just cleaning up
Why
or
did he
trying up
punish
loose ends.
I always thought he was cleaning house,
Probably.
yeah, but I don't know.
Like they knew too much. He couldn't let them go out
That
into the
probably
wild.
is it.
He could have told us that though. He could have explained that.
I hate this
I don't
piece
know.
of intel explaining that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like we're gonna learn next map, which I don't want to keep saying, oh, maybe next map we'll get something, but maybe next map we'll get something.
Yeah, that's the problem with this game right now. Is it's always with zombies and even Call of Duty to some extent. It's always the next game, the next map, the next update. And the thing is, I kind of disagree, Legend, a little bit that I would like them to explain that stuff. Like, I think that would be perfectly fine in a radio to hear like Weaver talking, or maybe it will be in the next map to just be a little bit hypocritical with what I just said. But finding a radio that Weaver says, I can't believe that I killed his wife and kids, is like, this thing's been haunting me to this day, but like, we got to do what we got to do to save Maxis. She's the most important thing here. But Richtofen better betray them. He better betray them again somehow, and somehow like to fulfill his end goal of bringing back his kids, whether that's getting rid of Samantha. Like, somebody needs to die. That's all I'm trying to say. You got to kill people in order to have stakes in the story. It can't just be everything getting their way and escaping a T-Rex at the last minute. So speaking of,
they will never be friends.
They probably will never be. But speaking of the actual map itself, we talked a lot about the story, and we can circle back to the story if we want. But I am curious, like, how do you guys all feel about the Shattered Veil overall? Godzilla, why don't we start with you?
I mean, I've been enjoying it so far. I think what's most interesting about it in the time that I've played is it feels like Treyarch's kind of been responding to what people have been complaining about in the other maps. Like, I think the big one is everyone used to complain about the boss zombie spam. It feels like they kind of toned it back, but at the same time, like, once a disciple spawns, there's boss zombies everywhere. So it's like they kind of have both. So it feels a little weird to say that they turned it back, but like, yeah, like for most of your game, you're going to be fighting just normal zombies. And I actually really like that. I think I made a video where I said, like, I'd love to have a map where it's just zombies again. And we almost got that. This is probably as close as we're going to get.
I kind of like the Elder Disciple spikes, though, because it kind of gives me a little bit of an adrenaline rush. Plus, it actually looks beautiful with all the particle effects and the zombies mutating. It's pretty fucking cool. If I'm being,
it's like, it's super hectic.
Honest. Yeah,
Disciples are like certainly a threat, and I love that.
Yeah.
I just need them to not hit me with that shockwave ability. It gives me some motion sickness.
I kind of like it though. I need to puke every now and then at my desk.
You're right.
Yeah, Clarky, how are you feeling about the Shattered Veil overall?
I'm loving it all around. I'm really happy about it. The one thing, like, it's a day and night difference between the two, because personally, I'm a bit of a Tomb Defender, but I will openly say I hated the story on that map so much to my absolute core. So seeing that the story did improve on this map, I was happy with it. My only problem was the return of the Wonderwolf specifically, especially when they didn't do a big change to it, or like an elemental version of it. That was annoying. Sure. But having the Ray Gun Mark II coming back, we haven't seen that since Black Ops 4, so I was alright with it coming back personally. And then of course they brought back like 2 of the versions from Alpha Omega, just changed slightly. Of course, the Rayfire, that's basically the dual wielding Ray Gun Mark II, just without it being dual wield. And then of course with the Shotgun Mark II, it's basically the exact same, just with a better fire rate in Alpha Omega. And then the newest one, I can't remember what it's called. I know it's got something to do with turning the zombies into brain rot. But no, they're cool overall. And the Pack-a-Punch cameras, I have to say, are the nicest looking Pack-a-Punch cameras
clean.
in that whole
They're
entire
so
game.
nice.
I really do like them. And
nice.
like Godzilla was saying earlier, I love how the bosses work in this map, because when we got told by, I think it was Treyarch's Instagram post, that we weren't going to get amalgams, we weren't going to get abominations, everyone was like cheering and everything. And, I was the same. But then when I did see an amalgam eventually and an abomination, I was like, damn, they really lied to us. But then I realized, the abomination you're only going to see once. And then the only time you see an amalgam is if you don't kill the Eldritch Disciple fast enough, which personally, I think it's a really good way to because I don't think Treyarch are going to change the way bosses work in this game at all. But I think adding in something like the Elder Disciple is a really good way to balance it. You know, here's the Elder Disciple. He's easy to eliminate, but if you don't want those amalgams coming back to haunt your game in Doppelgas, you better eliminate him quickly. I think that's just a good way to balance it out, personally, because like some of you guys said, I don't experience boss spam a lot within this map because my main focus whenever I see an Elder Disciple, I'm making sure I take him down first. And his design is really, really cool overall.
Yeah.
So, all in all, I'm happy with the map. Story's all right. Gameplay is great. I love the Easter egg as well. Love the boss fight. All in all, I'm happy with the map overall. I really have no complaints apart from the fact that why the fuck is the Wonderwolf back? Why have we not got a new one? Give me a new Wonderwolf, please.
Bring back the sharpshooter from Dr. Toten.
Not even that, dog. Give me like a dark ether elemental Wonderwolf, please. Like I would have been on my knees and would have been like crying in tears. I would have been happy with that.
Yeah, well, I want new Wonder Weapons too.
Yeah.
Still haven't even
You see
gotten
that?
Wonderwolf
You see
yet.
you guys see the thing about the next map having a pistol one weapon? People think it's gonna be the Cerberus.
I did hear about those
I
leaks.
did hear about that.
Oh,
I tried to avoid them, but that one I was sent directly.
I that one was everywhere, so I just assumed everyone saw it, dude. Ugh.
I don't
This is
want
the
that.
first time hearing
I
it.
love Cerberus is my favorite, but
I don't.
It
I
just
don't
wouldn't
know.
fit right.
we'll see. We'll see.
It would
What
be.
about you, Afterlife? What do you think of the map? You asking us questions, we're asking you one. What do
That's
you think of
true.
Shattered Veil?
This is our podcast now.
That's
Yeah,
true.
we taking over.
It's been hijacked.
It's a 4-1.
I think it's a pretty solid map. I mean, so far I would probably say it's probably the best map. Maybe it's between Terminus and this map. I would say they're neck and neck. What I really enjoy about it mostly is it actually feels like a zombies map. Like you could argue the Tomb or Citadel or Liberty Falls kind of has this like weird Modern Warfare Infinity Ward engine kind of issue where it doesn't artistically look like a zombies map. I feel like this map finally feels like that. The lighting is different from space to space. You're traversing through the map in a way that's confusing. The layout takes time to learn. You're exploring things in a really interesting way where you're blowing down walls or doing puzzles to open up spaces. And that's one of the reasons I like Zetsubo so much, is being able to find the Keeper wonder weapon. I forget what it's called off the top of my head. Scald on Sopway. So I enjoy stuff like that quite a bit. And I think that they did a really, really good job there. Normally I would complain and be a negative Nancy around the concept of just it being a wonder weapon quest and then doing a couple steps and you're in boss fight. But since the quest itself is the wonder weapon quest itself is so enjoyable, and there's like 3 layers to it, plus you can do one for the Wonderwolf as well. I think there's a lot of like diversity in that gameplay loop, and it's pretty challenging. But once you get to the actual Sentinel artifact steps where you're doing those challenges, I think they're a very beautiful spectacle. I don't think they're that hard, and I wish that there was more zombie spam in there while I'm trying to take down the HVTs. So I do think it's a really good quest. The pacing of it's really good. The boss fights are really enjoyable. It's kind of random that it's a T-Rex, but you know what? It
was cool.
It is cool. It's a little random, but it's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
is
sure
cool.
I
I
feel
like
about
it.
it.
So overall, I think the map is like an A tier. I would probably give it. And the story pays off in a lot of ways. I am more. I know this is so nitpicky. I'm more annoyed that they reused the like Alpha Omega ray gun variants than anything else. I don't know why that bothers me. It's just like, you guys, can you not even make the ray gun Mark II have more original? Yeah, like more variants.
The same. I agree.
They only made one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of annoying. But the gameplay loop is great. The atmosphere is great. Sam's voice acting is good. There's nothing really bad about it. There's just some questions I have, like stuff we talked about with the story, some pet peeves with the ray gun Mark IIs. But overall, I think it's like a solid, like A tier map. Yeah, I enjoy it quite a bit.
Even the song is pretty good.
Oh, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Man, you never realize how important color in a map is until you get maps without it. Like you guys play Verdansk, right? The new Warzone. God, that is so gray. That thing looks like I drew it with a pencil and like erased it and I got like a notebook. It's so gray. And you play like Liberty, and you remember people before launch complaining that Liberty looks dull and has no aura. Like I feel like they really upped the saturation and the hue on this map, and I appreciate that because it's nice to look at. You walk around and you're like, oh, I wonder what's on that whiteboard. I wonder what's on these computers. Why is Sam following me when I'm underground? Why is this doppelganger stuck in here? Is there something behind? Dude, like they did that well in this map. They haven't been able to do that. They did it a little bit in Terminus. Terminus has great color. I like the color of Terminus.
Yeah, Terminus.
I like the color of this map. But man, the other couple ones in this game is just like you walk around and you're bored. Well, look what you're looking at.
I think Citadel is my least favorite visually.
I would agree, which is kind of shocking. It's so shocking because on that map they're like advertising magic and the idea of the Bastard Knights. And if you actually look into the story of the Bastard Knights, it's pretty interesting. Yeah. And the swords are like, okay, the swords are unique, and but then it just falls flat, dude. It falls so flat. But this map doesn't. This map does more with less, I think.
I agree. I think presentation in maps is a very important thing. I'd actually am curious like what you think, Godzilla, because I was watching your early rounds video and you're really talking about like that horror aspect of surviving and scraping by and trying to get powerful and I'm curious, like, do you give a shit about atmosphere in terms of like the artistic direction or anything? Because I think that's really important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important. That's why I like how slow the earlier games used to be, because you could actually stop and look around. Because I try and look around in Black Ops 6. I'll turn off my HUD and the music and the dialogue, and I'll try and look around. But even still, like, zombies will constantly be on you, trying to smack you, and makes it kind of hard. And it's a shame because there actually is stuff to go and look at. It is a very nice looking map. Easily the best one in Black Ops 6, I would say.
Yeah.
With all the torn down walls, the color, just all the little things lying around, computers and artwork.
I think that's become a growing issue since Black Ops 4 because they don't let you have crawlers and the zombies are always after you. There's nothing you can really do to like prevent that. So you never actually get a chance to look at the map. And I think that actually damages the map's identities.
It's like it's there. You just don't get a chance to take it in.
Is it
there's
there,
things
though?
in Team Machina that I noticed recently.
There's maps that I'm just like, I at least for me, there's maps where I kind of walk through. I'm like, man, there's really nothing here. Or if there is something here, it's told to me. Not I didn't go find it. You know what I mean? I feel like that has issues. Like I think of a map like Firebase. I think Firebase doesn't really like you walk around Firebase and you kind of you're kind of bored as you walk through.
Yeah, there's
no
area with
spectacle amount on that map.
That's just me thinking about the top of my head. I think that the visual storytelling of newer CODs is one of its biggest weaknesses. But I think that this map is a great one. I think it does really good.
Yeah. Well, even with Firebase Z, like I think I've played it recently, and after playing some of the Black Ops 6 maps that I don't think are as like beautiful, like I went and played Firebase Z, and I was like, oh, this map actually does look kind of nice. I've never really taken the moment to appreciate it. Like maybe there's not that much like visual storytelling. Like there's nothing that I can immediately recall, but like I still think it's a nice looking map, and it's still nice to be able to just stop and look at it sometimes.
I think Firebase Z suffers from a over like the color palette is it spreads across the entirety of the map, so you don't really go from place to place and feel like, oh, I'm in a kind of a different zone. It all kind of feels homogenous. But I want to circle back into something with the art direction. Like I think about Black Ops 1 Moon, and funnily enough, it is just kind of a gray, mess. But at the same time, Moon's atmosphere, and I never noticed this playing it on Chronicles because of the overpowered nature of Gobblegum or just the speed in which you can slide around and stuff. But I was playing it recently and really, really giving it a chance, and I noticed just how isolated I felt as a player. I was like, this is fucking cool. Like I'm in this space station all alone. There's nothing around me. There's probably some astronaut following me. I have no idea where the hell he is. I feel super vulnerable with the zombies. I go through the lab. I know I'm going to get attacked by Nova 6 crawlers. My environment's constantly changing around me. I can't go into I forget what it's called, the biodome anymore because I need my suit. Can't use the hacker in there. Like everything feels like it's trying to fuck with you and make you die. And I really enjoy that quite a bit. I felt so scared and weak and vulnerable. But in BO6, the presentation of, I don't feel that way because the presentation of the atmosphere is not, it's not trying to oppress me. It's all about leveling up and grinding and getting your perks and going to the crafting table and this and that and doing your main quest. And while I love having main quest steps that have great spectacle, like the Sentinel artifact inside of the Shattered Veil, I don't feel oppressed by it. I jump in that painting, and all I have to really do is just kind of spam my ray gun at the enemy in the bubble, and I will get through it pretty easily. And so I think that's a very different take that I don't want to call them modern Treyarch, but just the Treyarch developers of this current day and age. They don't look at zombies as a game that's designed to oppress the player. They're looking at it as a game where you're supposed to have a box of tools that make you kind of overpowered, and you're just supposed to just kind of kill shit and have a good time. And I was curious what you guys thought about that take.
I like the take. I think that they had a really good opportunity to do that with Terminus, and they didn't. Like, they could have really made Terminus feel like a really secluded island, very far away, and it's just you there. They could have done that, and I think they didn't. They kind of missed the mark on that. I do think I think Terminus is my favorite looking map, though. But I think that they didn't have that mood. There was no eeriness to Terminus. It was just more like it's a kind of a cool lab prison that we broke out of, and how do we get out? It wasn't like I'm stuck here and I'm stuck here forever kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. Kind of like the Moon has.
I'm kind of the opposite. I actually found Terminus to be really eerie, especially when you start listening to all the intel and really immerse yourself in the map. You can feel the dread of the experiments that had unfolded there. And then when you just stare off into the ocean, you really feel alone and like there's nothing nearby to help you. But that's my POV of it.
I agree with you, especially when you're in the boat and all of a sudden like the tentacle pops out. I feel it there for sure. And then I agree with you about the intel regarding the dude who's Patient 13. I forget his name. He's like, he wants to stop Owen. Yes. He wants to stop like the experiments and everything. And you're trying to figure out and you're kind of listening to it and you're like, damn, this guy is screwed. And it does feel like they were a little bit helpless, but that it doesn't I agree with Legend a little bit as well, in the sense of it doesn't constantly feel like that in terms of the gameplay. Whereas like in a map like Moon or Shangri-La or anything from BO1, really, the map and the gameplay loop fit together in such a way where that oppressive nature of the mode kind of is constantly looming. It's a threat and you're going to die to it eventually. It's just a matter of when.
Mm. I feel like a big part of that, in my opinion, is the whole like radio character system that they've got going on. Like even if you play in solo, like there's somebody else there like talking to you, walking you through things. So it's a lot harder to feel like you're completely alone.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've hated this system ever since Cold War.
Never thought of that. That's a really good point. Yeah, because there's always a companion with you. They're always talking to you, telling you, hey, go do this. And when you start the map, they have the objectives too to tell you how to do Pack-a-Punch. Yep. Maybe that's another thing that kind of contributes to it.
Kind of wish they didn't show that.
There should have been an option where like you can turn it off. Like you could turn off the option where you see them appear on your screen whenever.
It's just guided mode. That's what guided mode is.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, like it's so weird that we can't turn off the objective markers in Black Ops 6. We can turn off everything else, but not those.
You know what? You know what you also can't turn off when you turn off the HUD is the damn exfil thing. Oh my gosh, it drives me crazy. It's just ugly. Like I don't want to see it on my screen. Just like I want to turn off everything. That's why I'm playing that way.
Gobblegums.
Gobblegums too.
Gobblegums.
Yeah, I know why they do that because it's like a core gameplay feature. But you could argue, take it off because my my field upgrades are a gameplay feature, and you can turn that off. But
money.
I want to ask you, Kaborium, what do you feel like because you're a storyline expert. You're a lore expert, as the kids say. So, how do you feel about the modern Zombies storyline compared to Ether? Because Legend earlier was saying how, the nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and we're probably never going to get to that era again. But do you think that the storytelling that was inside of Cold War, Vanguard, Modern Warfare Zombies and stuff, do you think that maybe if it was just perhaps told in a different way, or maybe we had better cutscene, or what do you think is missing, and do you think it's even as on par to what the storyline was back in the day? Because realistically, the story of Ether was only so great because of its confusing nature, and we kind of grew alongside of it. And I'm wondering, like, if this story, do you think has legs, and the community may be a little bit harsh towards it? Sorry, Legend, I'm throwing you under the bus a little bit.
No. Throw me under the bus, man. Fuck it, dude. Throw me under the bus.
I think that Dark Ether is a good story on its own, but I don't think it could ever live up to Ether. And that's not because Ether's better or Dark Ether's worse. I think it's because for a lot of us that were around with Ether, we kind of forged the story with Treyarch, and we're not doing that with this story. Same with Chaos, which I think is why that story didn't work either. Although, as Legend also said, nostalgia is one hell of a drug, and so I think people are going to constantly whine and complain, saying they want Primus back, or they want the Ether back, or the multiverse, and all this stuff, and we're slowly seeing them do that, unfortunately.
I think that they're coming back. I think that's the end game here.
And I think it shows.
I don't know if I want it, but I think that's the end game here.
I think it shows a complete lack of confidence in themselves and in their story, especially when they were boasting about this one, because they were saying they were quite confident in it. And so far, I'm not feeling any of that, mainly in this game. I'm not trying to insult the writers. I think they're doing good, but I think they could be doing a little bit better with this one in particular. I think Cold War and Vanguard are good story-wise. Modern Warfare is a different thing.
I actually think that that lack of confidence spans across the entirety of Black Ops 6, if I'm being quite honest. It feels like they want to
agree.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I agree.
Elaborate. What do you mean by that?
Me or him?
Like, no, just when you say they have lack of confidence across the entire game, you mean like the gameplay? You mean like what do you mean specifically?
Yeah. So what I mean by that is it feels like, well, earlier Coborium, I think it was Coborium, you said that it feels like they're trying to appease a lot of different segments of the community, and when they do that, I think it makes each section of the game feel shallow, and so I want them to just make the game that they're passionate about. If they want to make Zombies that's all passive currency earning, and then you just buy everything from the salvage table and Easter eggs are made for 3-year-olds, then fine, just make that game. But don't tease me with a little bit of a hard Easter egg, and then tease me with some member berries, and then tease me with Richtofen, but never go anywhere. Just be yourself. That's why the up to Black Ops 4, even, I know there was some contention there from the community, but that's why up to that point we were so enthralled with it, because Treyarch was unabashedly themselves. If they wanted you to kill elephants in a giant gladiatorial arena, you'd go there.
So cool.
If you wanted to build staves in the trenches of World War II, or World War whatever war it was.
World
War 3.
Yeah, you would go there. Going to Buried, going to all these crazy Shangri-La, it's just a made up jungle. It's like they were unabashedly themselves, and I feel like Treyarch is like, hey guys, remember in the marketing, we had a book that said we can take your criticism, and then it's on top of a Black Ops 3 book on top of, and then there's gobblegums and there's perks in the back. They're trying to just tickle all the classic fans' fancy while also cater to the modern Zombies audience. And it's I don't think you can make both happy. I think you gotta take a path and stick to it. Yeah.
I agree with you, dude. 100%. I remember back in BO3 at its peak, when people were complaining that they distanced themselves from the old classic zombie fans. Remember that argument in Black Ops 3? That Black Ops 3 is too complicated, it's too hard, and the people that loved Kino and Derice were thrown away. Sure. Remember that casual players saying that. And this game, they're trying to have the casual players and trying to have those Black Ops 3 players, and you like Ether and you miss Chaos, but you like modern Zombies and you like the armor system, and here's Double Tap back. It's okay, pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one. Pick one.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Do you guys think I'm crazy for that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if. Oh, go ahead.
I think you're right. Oh, sorry. I think I interrupted someone.
No, go.
But yeah, I think because that's how this whole mode even started. It was the developers making it for fun in their free time back during World at War.
Mhm.
And I mean, it probably turned out as good as it did because the people making it enjoyed it just as much because they were playing it in their off time.
Yeah,
But nowadays, you know, Zombies has taken off, and I don't know exactly who would be responsible for this. My conspiracy theory is that it's more Activision saying this thing really took off, so we're going to pump a bunch of money into it, but you guys got to play it like really safe, try to appeal as many people as possible. And so it kind of holds them back from their vision, what the developers actually would like to do with it. It stops them from like putting 100% into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Clarky, I think you were going to say something as well.
I was just appreciating the fact that Double Tap is back. I actually have it in my hand right now as we speak.
Nice.
I reached into the game and got it.
I mean, I love the perk machine in this game, man. I really do. I think it's really cool. The logo.
You can drink.
Yeah, the
but-
logo's a little rough, but I agree
yeah,
the
but
machine is-
the actual perk machine itself is nice, and you know, it's definitely a big up seeing as our last perk was Death Perception, and oh boy, what a tizzy that was.
God, Double Tap makes this game so much better.
Yeah, no, Double Tap's great. I'm so glad it's back, especially with the augment system. I know there's like maybe one or two augments in there that are really just like, why is that even an augment? But the majority of the augments with Double Tap, I'm really happy about, especially when you can basically put Double Tap 1.0 and 2.0 together. No, I'm really happy with Double Tap coming back, man. And that I can see a future because I've said this so many times on my personal stuff. If rarities don't go within these next few games, now that we have Double Tap back, I'm done. I don't know why rarity should be in the game when we have Double Tap.
Man, you
back.
don't like the rarity system? I don't mind it. I know a lot of people don't like it. I don't
I mean,
mind the
to
rarity
be
system at
fair,
all.
I've said this so many times. I hate it how it works in Cold War. I feel like in Cold War, it takes too long, especially when the salvage was split in half. Like, you get the common green salvage really quickly. The blue salvage takes way too long, in my opinion. It takes way too long, especially when you need that type of salvage to get the purple and orange rarity. It takes way too long. And, you know, I appreciate that it's another way of progression. I just don't think that's the right way to go around it. It's not enjoyable, in my opinion. How they done it in Vanguard is actually decent. 2 OP, in my opinion, though. 2 OP. Because if you got a blue gun from the box in that game, that is Pack-a-Punch tier 1 already as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's 2 OP. I would have preferred it if you just got a blue rarity from the box in Vanguard. It's not Pack-a-Punch. But if you were to just Pack-a-Punch a grey weapon in that game, you would have gone not only a blue rarity, but Pack-a-Punch tier 1 also. And the same applies for the other 2 rarities, being the purple and orange one. But with Modern Warfare Zombies, it was all RNG. And Black Ops 6, the only 2 things that they improved upon was there's only 1 piece of salvage, which I'm really glad about. On top of that, you don't need to get one rarity just to get the next one. Like, you could just skip right on
Yes,
to,
you can. Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah,
that's
nice.
great. That is really great. So they've improved on it, but I just don't want it there. Like, see, unless they take the Vanguard system of the rarity system and maybe rework it a bit, I think it would be just fine. Honestly, if they put that,
they could take.
They did a lot of really good quality of life changes in this game.
yeah, no, I agree. But the rarity system in this game, I don't think it's perfect. I still think Vanguard still stands out. The only problem with it is I was too OP in that game. I think if they include the rarity system with the Pack-a-Punch system, I think it would be perfect overall. Especially considering now that we actually have Double Tap back. That's just me personally.
Is Vanguard system really OP if nobody plays it?
I mean, you have a point. You have
I
a point.
play it.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Unless you ask Expert Fusion, that man is the biggest Shino Numa Reborn defendant I know.
I mean, I do like Shino Numa Reborn. Go ahead, Clarky. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, jokes aside, it's like Vanguard, the little things, like, I think we can all agree Vanguard sucks, like 100%. But like,
Sorry, yeah.
But like, there's like the little things in Vanguard that they actually done pretty well, to be honest. Like me personally, like I don't mind Shiranuma Reborn. When you think of Shiranuma, you obviously think of the older maps first, like World of War and all that stuff. But
I like how it plays it in.
when I think of Shiranuma Reborn, like there's so much more to do on that map. Like, because you have like a couple of side quests in there on top of a main Easter egg on top of that. It's just cool, in my opinion. And then, you know, I like the Archon because of its boss fight, but that is just Terra Maledicta too. But it's green. There's nothing special. So,
it sure is.
I have nothing else to say about that.
Around Fung is fun.
Don't even say it.
Yeah, no, can we
You'll get this video demonetized.
Can we get this from this podcast? Jokes aside, no. Vanguard, it has a little thing. It's the little things in Vanguard that I genuinely do appreciate, and I genuinely wish they actually did put into the other games. The biggest example is how I feel about the rarity system, just with a slight bit of rework.
I have a bit of a... Well, Legend, do you have something you want to add to that? I have a question for Clarky.
Go.
Well, I'm actually curious, Clarky, like, how do you feel about the gameplay systems inside of the like more modern Zombies era, where a lot of that progression is actually inside of the menus, like whether you're grinding for crystals or getting your augments. But then they kind of showed us that we could have it in game, and they dropped some of the systems into Vanguard. How do you feel about instead of having maybe a side Easter egg that buffs double tap, now you have to just grind for an augment that gives you some sort of buff to the perk? Like, do you prefer to have your side Easter eggs or rewards inside of the map, or do you like having the system that's in menu and allows you to customize your experience from map to map?
I prefer it in-game, personally, because you're starting off with nothing. Makes you feel like it's classic Zombies again. You know, like with BO3, compare that to BO4, you're not starting off with a specialist. You're not starting off with like these cool ass equipment and stuff. Within Vanguard, because Vanguard is the only one that done this, surprisingly enough. You're starting off with tier 1 on every single match you play within that game. The difference between Vanguard and Cold War, and hell, you could even put Black Ops 6 in there too. The difference between those games is that in Vanguard, it doesn't feel satisfying. Whereas in Cold War, I loved grinding out for those crystals. I really did. But on one hand, that was new to us. This was the first time we ever saw skill tree perk upgrades for the first time. I was actually talking to one of my friends recently. They were actually talking about, because they prefer Cold War over BO6. And I was surprised by that. But then they were talking about the general gameplay systems and stuff and the upgrades. And I'm just thinking, well, you got to keep in mind, they've not even played Cold War ever since it ended. But then I'm thinking, on one hand, we got new stuff to grind for. That was the first game we ever saw this new modern Zombies era go into. Whereas in Black Ops 6, the same stuff's in there, just changed slightly. But the thing is, with Vanguard, it's always starting back from zero, and that you need to make your way up every match you play. So I prefer it in-game. Personally, I just think Vanguard done it wrong, because it's so much points to spend, like 2,500. Well, no, the first time you buy a perk, it's free. Then the next time it's 2,500, then 5,000, then 7,500. That's for every perk you buy. On Dawnfall and Terra Maledicta, it works, because after each wave you finish, not only are you getting points from eliminating zombies, you're getting points, a lot of points, especially if you have double points, getting a lot of them if you survive those objective-based rounds. Whereas on the round-based version of those maps, it doesn't really work. So I would have preferred it if it was more of a side Easter egg thing, but nothing too hard, nothing too, complicated. Just something that's right in the middle, something that balances between the perk upgrades and earning them in-game, and always starting back from nothing. And then you need to make your way up to the max tier upgrade. Or do something like the masks from Revelations. Upgraded Jug and Stamina, for example, like the God Mask. I think that was cool. Granted, there was some things that was a bit too much, but it was nice. It was sick. So I more prefer the side Easter egg approach instead of just points, because I think that's boring and bland. But something that's satisfying, because I think Cold War got that down to a T. But once you got all the stuff in Cold War, there wasn't anything satisfying anymore. So, but I don't know. That's just me personally. I think Vanguard had the good idea of starting back from zero, but it didn't feel achieving. It didn't feel rewarding. It didn't feel satisfying. Cold War done it in a way where it was good. It wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. It was satisfying, but in the end game result, with every match you play after that, once you've got everything done, is it really worth going back to? Because it's just going to be the same every match.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me personally.
I'd like to hear all your opinions on this stuff. So if you guys could all go ahead, I'd be interested.
I'll agree.
I think Vanguard system could work if in Black Ops 6 if the point system was changed to maybe work a little bit like the older ones.
If the point system is classic, it would work.
Godzilla, what were we going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree. I really liked how Vanguard made it all in-game. Like I already said, I started with Black Ops 1, so my ideal version of Zombies would be you pick a map, and then you just start the game, and there's nothing else to it. And just figure it all out, get it all set up in the match. That's what I like the most. But yeah, I did really like that about Vanguard. Even if it wasn't the best.
Do you think that the issue of progression in the game has to do with the perks in that system? Or do you think it more has to do with what you spawn in with? Because I don't think the way that you get upgrades with the augments, I like the augment system a lot. I think it's done very well. Great. And I don't think that the issue of progression in the game has anything to do with the augment system. I think it more has to do with what you spawn in with. The fact that you spawn in with the field upgrade, and you can spawn in with any gun, and you can spawn in with 3 gobblegums already active without even going to the machine. And you can I think that's a bigger issue of progression in the game rather than out of the game progression.
That's a good point. First of all, we got to keep in mind, Black Ops 6 didn't originally have that. You didn't always start off with 3 gobblegums in your slot.
Why they did that?
Yeah, no, they changed that in Citadel. So why they changed that?
Yeah, but the gun, dude, in Black Ops, how often do you guys hit the box in BO6?
Hardly.
I do it for nostalgia's sake.
I do it in Shattered Veil now, but
yeah, you do it maybe a little bit, but man, you're not hitting the box like you used to.
100%.
And
especially with Wonder Weapon quests.
And in Black Ops 6, there's no specialist weapon quest. You get your specialist weapon right away. You get your field upgrade right away. Would you rather spawn in with a field upgrade of your choice, or would you rather on the Shattered Veil that there's a quest to get a specialist weapon? I would definitely take the latter.
I'd definitely rather have to unlock it like it was in Black Ops 3.
Or
at least put them in the box.
Black Ops 3, 100%. So I think that's the bigger issue. I think the augment system's great. I think upgrades for the perks are great, and upgrades for everything's fantastic because you need some out of game progression so that after your game is done and you lose, you still feel like you accomplished something. You still need to see, okay, I got some gobblegums this game. I got my weapon kits upgraded because camo grinding's not for everyone. I'm not a big camo grinder. So you got to have something, and I think augments do a really good thing of that. But I think, man, in-game progression has a lot more with what you're spawning in with rather than the out-of-game upgrades that you can get. Because even though the upgrades are out of game, you still have to physically go in the game, go up to the perk and buy it. And those perks get really expensive when you're going to 6, 7, 8, 9. You know what I mean? Those things get at 5, 6,000. So I don't know. That's the way I see it. I think it's more about what you spawn in with rather than your progression out of game.
That's a good point because that's the one thing I really love about the modern perk system. I always did appreciate, not on Vanguard or Modern Warfare Zombies, I know if you got to a certain level, all the perks are cheap. But in Cold War and BO6 specifically, the one thing I love about the modern perk system is that, of course, there's no perk limits, but every time you buy a perk, it goes up by 500 points. That's one thing I did always appreciate. And I'm still not a fan of the Wonder Fist system, but at least, you can't get to around 25 in BO6. That's something I do appreciate.
Yeah.
But no, I 100% agree. It's more with what you spawn in with, not the system itself. I do agree with that. You make a good point.
Godzilla, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to go on about the 500 point thing. I like how it's not a perk limit. It's like a soft perk limit because there's so many other things to spend points on in Black Ops 6 with the armor. So that's just what I was going to add in there.
Yeah. I think so. I'm gonna try to tie this together a little bit, and then you guys can comment what I'm about to say. I agree that the loadout issue is present, but I also think that the in menu progression is also a problem. And I think the problem overall is that we have both simultaneously. So if they would just chip a couple things away from the progression system in menu and chip away a couple things from the loadout system and bring those into each map individually, I think it would be I think it would actually marry the game in a much better way and actually appease the entirety of the Zombies fan base, because instead of having the same field upgrades all the time, like Frost Blast and Healing Aura and whatever the hell else there is, Ether Shroud, Frenzied Guard, imagine if they created a much more specialized field upgrade for each map that catered to the play style that map was going for.
Cool.
Because
that'd be so cool.
That's why the Ragnarok DG4s or whatever from Drak were so cool, because they catered to the playstyle that Drak was going for. The same with the Skull of Dawn Stopway, being able to like stop zombies in their tracks and like disintegrate them with like their skulls are exploding in Zetsubo, because it's such a tight quartered map that is going to get you into trouble. Having a weapon that's catered to the playstyle. And here's the thing, this same idea works with enemies and boss zombies. Like Brutus works so well inside a Mob of the Dead because of those long corridors where he's chasing you and you're like, holy shit. And Electric Cherry works in your defense because zombies will just surround you and you can just like kill them with the reload. So all the perks and the boss enemies and the field upgrades or specialists, whatever word you want to use, in the previous games were, well, in BO3, I guess specifically, were designed so well in such a way that you're enjoying that experience that the map has for you. Whereas now it's a homogenized experience across the entirety of the game, where you can take Ether Shroud into Terminus and into Shattered Veil and wherever you want and play that way if you want to play that way. And I think that that's boring. And so I actually think it hurts side Easter eggs. I think it hurts progression. I think it hurts a lot of things, because the whole point of having side Easter eggs or being rewarded inside of the map itself is to A, give the map a little bit of a personality, but B, to push past the boundaries of what the gameplay has to offer. So inside of Origins, this is just the easiest and cleanest example. Getting all the perks in that map was super rewarding, because normally you could just get 5 with Quick Revive, Stamina, Speed Cola Jug, and then you get double tap from from that one reward chest. But if you wanted the rest, you'd have to dig and dig and dig. Whereas now I can just passively earn everything and buy it. So while there is a little bit of a soft lock there, and I'm grateful for that, it's still allowing me to achieve everything passively, and and there's no further boundary. So once I hit the top of that ceiling, there's nowhere for me to go. Whereas in Origins, you hit the ceiling of 5 perks, and then you can add however many left that there are. And so let's just use this as an example, right? Let's say I unlock all the augments for double tap and I used a major and a minor. Wouldn't it be interesting if there was like a side Easter egg, and this is just a hypothetical, if there's a side Easter egg in Shattered Veil that allowed you to have an extra minor augment on the perk of your choosing? That's pushing past the boundaries of what Treyarch's allowing you to do. That's what makes side Easter egg rewards exciting. And there's nothing like that. There's nothing in there that gives you an extra Ether Shroud charge, an extra minor augment, an extra hidden buff on insta kills, or a double max ammo. I don't know. There's nothing in there that pushes past the rules, and that, I don't know what the hell that was. That was a stupid example, but there's nothing in there that pushes past the rules. And that's what's missing from modern zombies, in my opinion, is going past the boundary.
Dude, you're so right, dude. You're so right. I think the mob example with Brutus and Electric Cherry is perfect, because I think the best example of a boss fitting a map in this game is the Amalgam on Terminus. Like, they had a great story with the Amalgam. A great story. They should have just left him on Terminus. It would have made that map feel so unique. It made it feel so interesting. That boss was brand new. He's annoying, sure, but he's fun to play against. He's not too crazy. And then they added him in Citadel, and it was like, why? And then it also shows up in other Easter eggs and other parts of other maps, and it's just like, man, if he just left him in Terminus with the story that they show, with the experiments, obviously with Nathan, we see that cutscene of him becoming one. Man, that would have been so cool if they just left it there. That would have made that map feel so unique. And that's another thing that adds to what we've been saying earlier about visual storytelling and map aura. Like, oh, dude, you're cooking, dude. You're so right. When maps have unique features that you can't get anywhere else, it gives you a sole reason to only play that map. This game, you can play any of the maps, and they all can do everything.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I even, this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I always thought it would have been cool if amalgams didn't spawn into Terminus until after you killed Nathan. I always like you're releasing the amalgam into the wild. Just like little shit like that, I think just makes things better. Maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know, but just little things like that. What if it was like a give and take? What if it was a give and take? What if you killed Nathan and that was a way of maybe getting the specialist weapon? That's what you get. Sure. But your, I guess, punishment is now you have amalgam spawn in. That would have been sick, dude. Oh my god, if they could have done that. But come on, Treyarch.
Kind of do something like that.
We know you can do it.
The red vampires.
Yeah, with
like
the
get those shits out of here, dog. I fucking hate them.
I hate them. They're my least favorite boss ever.
I hate them, bro.
But you are right.
Maybe, but same idea, right?
Yeah, you get
it punishes you, but you want to do it because it's part of a quest.
Well, also the Shadow Claw thing. I always forget what it's called. The Salvage Impaler. Salvage inside of BO6 has broken my brain to where I call the Savage Impaler Salvage Impaler. I'm cooked.
Oh boy.
Got a true salvage lover.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're all true salvage lovers in this Discord, right, guys?
Oh no.
I literally only said that because I know Clarky hates it.
Oh no. Do not get me wrong. Some of the stuff of the salvage, like I do appreciate and I do like.
You don't have to sugarcoat it, Clarky. We know you hate it.
Why are AATs now costing salvage? That shit was in the Pack-a-Punch. It should stay in the Pack-a-Punch. That shit should not cost salvage. And rarities, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. No, it's gotta go. Crafting table is the only thing that I'm alright with.
I see. That's where you and I disagree, Clarky. And I'm curious what Godzilla thinks about this. I think the crafting table is a great example of everything I just said a moment ago. It's a catch-all, and rather than having the Casimir on Forsaken only, it's just thrown into the crafting table rather than having.
Oh, yeah, it's on every map. I'm talking about
You're so right. You're so right.
No, you are right. I'm talking about in terms of like the salvage use, it should only be used for the crafting table, but there should only be certain items on the crafting table within each map. Like you said, the Casimir should only be in the crafting table, for example, on Forsaken. I agree with that. Or just get it somehow else for a side Easter egg or something like that. I agree with that.
The mutant inject should only be on Liberty.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that.
Godzilla, let me interrupt one last time before I pass to you to respond to all this. I would even be okay with having side Easter eggs that unlocks shit to put into the crafting table, and then we could use it on every map. Like that
sounds good.
Just stuff like that. I just feel like if I could work at Treyarch for like a week as an intern, I would get so much done. But I don't know. Maybe. All right, Godzilla, I'll pass to you.
Activision would be like, nah, he's doing too much.
That's true. I get demoted.
I mean, like overall, I don't mind the crafting table that much, but I also personally don't use it very often. But yeah, like I agree, like it's the same score streaks on every single map. So it's like every map you can run chopper gunners or death machines or whatever you want to run. And it would be cool if it was like they were map specific, or maybe they were like special like zombie score streaks you could craft or something.
No, there should be.
I definitely agree that would help and add more personality to each map. Like it'd be cool if only on Liberty Falls you could craft a chopper gunner, because that's the only map where it really even makes sense to have.
True.
And give us more forms of mutant injection.
Liberty should have the mutant injection only. 100%. What if you could like mutant inject into any of the bosses on any of the maps? Liberty's got the Mangler. I thought so too. I thought you were gonna mutant inject it to an amalgam, and then you can mutant inject into like doppelgast, and then become a fucking a fucking shock mimic. And then you become
the Mangler like makes the least sense, right?
Yeah, because that's just a dude,
like a mechanical armored guy.
I know. Dude, becoming an amalgam and just sucking in zombies with like their long tentacles would have been sick, dude. Oh,
would have been like
cool. Like a lot cooler.
Would have been so sick.
I know. Being able to. Oh, go ahead, Clarky. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, could you imagine like calling in like one of the big apothecons from like Revelations or some shit like that? That would be cool.
I'd
Even
squeal.
even having like turning into an elder disciple or whatever and being able to buff your teammates and make your like just anything
That's a good one.
would have been
That'd be
would have
cool.
been cool to do like that. And I'm interested in the Caborium's take here because I know you're the storyline expert. I know I've already crowned that for you, but how do you feel about the gameplay and the story bleeding together? So from my opinion, I did touch on this a few moments ago, but I think that having interesting lore allows you to create good gameplay mechanics. An example that I've given in previous podcasts is like upgrading the Gauntlet of Oranos and inside of Ancient Evil, where you're shooting the zombies at the giant arrows that were shot by gods. Like that's narrative impacting the gameplay mechanic and creating some sort of interesting loop for the player to experience and allows immersion. Like, how much do you care about that stuff? Do you think it's important? Do you think Black Ops 6 is handling that well, or do you think there's another game that does it better?
I love it when they do that because I think it gives the steps or whatever you're working toward have a lot of personality. I think it gives the map a lot of personality because it gives you a reason to care about what's going on in it. I do think Black Ops 6 is doing it better than I would even say Cold War, even though Cold War kind of explains everything that exists. But like with the Beam Smasher, when you're trying to obtain it, you're unlocking a room that was sealed off because the scientist didn't want Richtofen to know what she was working on. And when you go in there, you can find said scientist as a zombie with clutching the item you need. I think that's cool. That makes it immersive. That's a little bit of show don't tell, like they said they would do. But I don't know if they really did that again afterwards. Now that I think about it, I don't know if they accomplished the same thing in other maps.
They need to do more show don't tell. It's
room?
always coolest.
I do like that, but I also like my intel. I have a problem. I will sit there forever and read it.
I don't mind it as long as like major disposition is done through, or exposition is done through character dialogue and maybe like core radios that you can listen to in the map. I will say, because of the intel system and the fact that zombies are so damn fast, I find myself like playing a radio and then I'm like, oh, well, I guess I have to leave because the zombie's going to beat me to death and I'll just listen to it in the menu later.
It angers me.
Yeah.
I just want to
Run in
listen.
little circles.
It's not as easy to listen to radios in the newer games. I used to love listening to radios, even like a map, dude. I remember playing Blood. Blood has some of the most interesting and insane radios I think I've ever heard.
Story map.
That map is absolutely insane.
I love that when you complete the Easter egg, you unlock the second half of some of those conversations.
That was so interesting. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, there's radios. I can't remember where you'd find them, but they're from the warden of the prison, and you only hear him, and he's talking to nobody. But when you complete the Easter egg and you go back and listen to it, the Shadow Man is responding.
There's the one by Old Industries or New Industries or whatever, by that first dog head, or where you put the magma gat. There's a radio right there. That's one that it does it. It's only Stanley Ferguson talking, and then it's the Shadow Man the second time. It's so interesting. I thought they were going to do
that with Shattered Veil because there's that radio where Dr. Panos is talking to somebody. I was like, ooh, when I complete the egg, am I going to hear like another voice? And no, you don't.
No such luck.
I'm kind of glad they didn't do that though, because we'll probably get revealed in the next map. Got a bit of mystery going on still with that.
I'm still thinking it's the Shadow Man, but I don't know.
Apparently it's a he.
Do you guys think that the end of this story is just going to be them bringing back the ether elements into this game? Do you think they're just going to bring back the Shadow Man and bring back Primus? And do you think they're going to go full out like that?
I do have a hunch that they will.
They threw it all in the dark ether. I want it to stay there and just stay dead.
I agree.
Me too.
Nikolai's decision have some significance.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't think of a way where they would do that and it doesn't feel like cheap.
There is no way, I don't think. It'll, no matter what, disrespect the ending of Ether, which is probably a silly word, but I think it's distasteful to people that care, that cried like JC, or you know, and people that really enjoyed that ending, and if they undo it, like, oh, here's everything all over again, it's like, well, then what was the point of?
And the next map's the Great War.
Finally,
Finally, dude, we got it in Black Ops 7.
JC will have to delete his video.
No,
Yeah.
Is this
One Dell's playing the long game.
Exactly.
this is
Blood
just to
Dove comes
explain
back.
why Ether and Chaos were in Blackout. It's just, I understand it. It all makes sense.
Well, totally all planned.
Yep.
How are
This
you
is what they were
guys? How are you guys feeling about the main Easter eggs inside of BO6 so far? Clarky, why don't you start?
Well, I personally like the Easter eggs in Black Ops 6. My only problem with them is that the majority of the Easter egg quest is literally just building the Wonder Weapon and upgrading them. That is literally my only problem, because all they need to do is just make more steps dedicated to the Easter egg. Make the Easter eggs longer. Because if you take the equation out of just getting the Wonder Weapon and upgrading them and just focus on the Easter egg steps themselves, they're not that long. They're good eggs. I think they're good Easter eggs. I don't think they're long enough, though. Because once you've done it all, you're just like, oh, well, that was quick. Like, it doesn't excite you, you know? And I've always been one to always grind Easter eggs. Like, I've done hundreds and hundreds of hours of Easter eggs, and just when I do on BO6, I'm having a great time. But it just ends too quickly. So, as much as I like them, and the whole thing with, oh, it's the Wonder Weapon and upgrade on every map, I don't even see that as a bad thing. I just think, you know, if that's what they're going for, sure, go for it. Why not? But please add in not just 3 steps dedicated to the Easter egg after getting the Wonder Weapon and its upgrades. Give us 6, 7 plus steps dedicated to the Easter egg after getting that Wonder Weapon and upgrade, you know? So I think they're good. I just think they need to make them longer and make more steps dedicated to the Easter egg themselves instead of just getting the Wonder Weapon and upgrading it. That's my take.
I'm curious on Treyarch's thought process behind their steps nowadays. Like, why do they just get the Wonder Weapon and do 1 or 2 things afterwards? I guess they're afraid of another
cook with the boss
revelation.
fights, though. Boss fights.
Oh, the
very
boss
good.
fights have been absolutely fantastic within Black
Boss
Ops
fights
6.
been good. Boss fights been good. But
I actually think that's exactly why. I think it's because of the boss fights. I think they're harder, they're more involved than they've really ever been. And so I think like they want to be able to make the quest feel, the Wonder Weapon quest feel engaging, so that somebody who wants to just go for high rounds or just regular gameplay feels like they progress through something. But for those who actually want to get in and do the boss fight and die and try again, I think that's why. Because it's not like a Souls fight or like a Souls game where you can just go back in after you die. Which I said this before, that could be a cool gobblegum where they like you can just die and respawn at the end of at the beginning of the boss fight again. But anyway, Legend, sorry I interrupted you, and I'd like to know what you think about the main Easter eggs.
No, you're all good. I agree with Clarky with it only having a couple steps. I think Terminus did the best with the Easter egg. You get the Wonder Weapon, and then there's a lot of Easter egg centric quests. There's the code to get to Nathan. There's the step where you have to lock down the boat. There's the buoy step. There's the bomb step. And the intensity that you have in Terminus' Easter egg isn't anywhere near in the other Easter eggs, except for maybe a little bit in the lingering spaces in the Shadowed Veil. Is it Veil or Veil? I've heard people say both.
Veal is a baby cow that is slaughtered for you to eat. Veil is a thing that needs to be breached, and that's what.
So you're telling me Veil? Okay, cool. No,
exactly.
Okay, so Shattered Veil. So I think Terminus did the Easter egg the best, right? I never expected the Tomb in Liberty Falls Easter egg to be that crazy. I knew they were going to be simplistic going into the maps. So when they weren't anything nuts over the top, it kind of felt like a custom Zombies quest. My expectations weren't let down. Like I wasn't let down because I knew that was going to happen. You know what I mean? Like I had that initial gut feeling. But I think of a step like a quest like Citadel, and I feel like this entire podcast, we have just been dogging and shitting on Citadel. And it's not a horrible map, but the quest is you get the swords, and then you do 2 steps, and it's the boss fight. You pick up a couple parts, you get the pages for the books, you go talk to his dad, and then Craft, and then you use boss fight time. I think that they need to have more involved steps like Terminus, where the steps themselves feel like accomplishment. Like you finish a step and you feel accomplished. It's like, all right, got that step done. They don't, I don't feel that accomplishment when I get a step done in the other maps that I do in Terminus. I think they got to follow that Terminus blueprint. I think Terminus, after you get the Wonder Weapon, you have what? You have the Nathan code step. Then you have the actual killing of Nathan in that cutscene step. You have the bomb step. That's a step. This is not in order, but you have the buoy step. You have the ship step. Like that's 5-6 steps that all after you're done, you're like, all right, next thing. You know what I mean? They don't it's not like you feel accomplished after completing individual steps. I don't know. That's just me though. I really like Terminus's egg.
I think I agree with the accomplishment aspect. I know in older games, not to nostalgia it, but I know in older games when you did a step, you did feel pretty good about yourself, especially in Black Ops 4, I would say, just because some of those are really tough.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Especially
Definitely
if they crash
BO4.
on launch.
Yeah, especially at launch, you're trying to speedrun the egg before the game crashes.
Yeah,
Definitely a BO4. That's a really good point.
real quick question before I move on to like the I want to do a quick ranking of BO6 maps, but before we get to that, I am curious, what do you guys think about which is better, Mob or Blood? And then and we'll start with Godzilla, then we'll go to Clarky, Legend, and then Caborium. So Godzilla, why don't you start us off?
Oh, this might be heresy, but I would say Blood.
Hey, Clarky,
Mob.
Legend,
Mob.
Caborium.
I'm also Mob.
Caborium. Oh no.
Sorry,
Well-
I like Blood because the characters, but I prefer
Blood
gameplay
has
Mob.
the better story, but Mob in general just has.
God, both their stories are so good though, man.
Oh yeah, no.
I think
Blood
Mob
is-
of the Dead has the best written character ever in
He does really
Zombies.
good writing.
I think Weasel's character in Mob is the best written character ever in Zombies. That's a hot take. I don't know if that's a hot take, but he's my
Definitely not
favorite
heard
written
that one
character
before.
ever.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I
the
think
characters
it's
from Mob.
A great story, great gameplay, great atmosphere, great map location. Easter eggs easy, but in general, it's fun to do. All around, it's great.
Yeah, for me, I like the story, and I like kind of the payoff of knowing how Mob of the Dead even fits into the whole thing.
Mhm.
But I think it also boils down to, as mostly a solo player, I just don't like the Afterlife system. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
I would rather just have quick revive. I feel like I go down and then the zombies just kind of spawn camp me,
That's true.
and that drives me a little crazy.
But you could teleport them away just by shocking the zombies, though.
You
They
can,
don't
but
go very
they just
far.
come back.
Yeah, they do just move like 20 feet. It's not really teleporting. It's more like just being like a little
It's like
slap in the
But
wrist.
you do get
It's like it's
infinite-
nothing.
You do technically get infinite downs, don't you?
You get 3, and then you get 1 back every round after.
Yeah, so it's like infinite for
As
the
long
whole
as you're
game,
careful.
though.
That's
Yeah.
true. You just gotta
Well,
be
like-
smart when you're out of outer afterlives in a round.
Well,
I acknowledge
that
that
one-
Blood
that
of the
Wonder
Dead is
Weapon
flawed,
isn't,
but I like it.
That Wonder Weapon is infinite damage though. That Wonder Weapon does drop off pretty heavy.
Let the blender get?
Yeah, just the Vitriolic Withering. I'm talking about Blood.
Classic, yeah.
Not Blood, sorry, I'm talking about Mob.
well, my vote counts as 3, and I also think Blood is the best. So it looks like Blood wins
Alright,
in
cool.
this podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
corrupt.
It is corrupt. This is not a democracy. This is I am a fascist. All right. So all right, we're gonna do a quick ranking of the BO6 maps, and
Oh, boy.
I just want to see what everybody's kind of thinking. I can go first if you want. Maybe I can set a tone, but I think the Shattered Veil is probably the best right now. Then Terminus, then I'd say the Tomb, Citadel, and then Liberty Falls. So, and whoever wants to start, go right ahead.
It's probably the least interesting because my list is the exact same as yours.
Based.
Let's go. Validation.
All right, I'll go. I think Terminus is the best in the game. I think Terminus is 1.
Breach.
And I think Shattered is 2. I'm not gonna say it's Veil. Yeah, Veil. Shattered Veil.
Shattered baby
Veil.
cow.
All right, and
Yep.
then I would go Liberty 3, Citadel, and then the Tomb last. That's my list.
That's interesting. Liberty over the Tomb.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. I'm writing these
One is
down.
Malcolm,
Just
one doesn't.
all right. Who wants
Come
to
on,
go?
man. Let's
next?
talk. I'm here. Oh
Let me
yeah, I'm
think.
standing on business. Come on, I'm going.
Guys ready to fight.
I take my Liberty Falls very seriously. No, I'm fine.
I see. I see.
God, how many maps do we have?
Number one
6?
defender.
There's
Five?
five.
5? Okay, I just don't want to miss one. I kind of want to put Shattered Veil at top. Maybe it's just because of the honeymoon phase, but it's a beautiful map. It's fun to play. The bosses and all that it's fun. And Richtofen being back is a highlight.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, no one
Below
really
that, I'd
done yet.
probably put Citadel.
Wow. After we bonded
it's a
over
fine map.
blood, thought we had something,
I enjoyed
bro.
that map. I wasn't a big follower of the Chaos story back in its prime, but still somehow I felt really nostalgic. With Craft being back and all the Chaos stuff coming back, even though, like I said, I didn't follow
nostalgia.
Vanguard or Chaos.
Yeah.
Artifacts the Deathless, please. Come back to me.
Below Citadel, probably the Tomb. It's just a fun, simple map. Liberty below that, and please don't hate me, but I'm putting Terminus at the bottom.
Interesting. Let's
I
put
know you said please, but
let's get I think Clarky's the last one. Let's get his, and then I want to really quickly explore that Terminus because I was not expecting that at all.
Let me pull up my notes.
Oh, boy. This is going to be a rough one.
ready.
All right.
He's like, it's the intel. Is what it is. It's the intel.
Hold on to your butts, boys. This is going to be a good one. All right.
oh boy.
My favorite map in BO6. It's going to be Terminus. I love Terminus.
I was waiting for the term there.
Hell no.
Liberty.
My second favorite, it's got to be Citadel. I am quite addicted to Citadel at the moment. I do like the map. Third is definitely Shattered Veil. It's definitely a cool map. The only thing that brings it down is just the Raygun Mark II is coming back and the one-off. Even though I don't mind the Raygun Mark II, two of the versions are literally just the same ones from Alpha Omega, just changed slightly. But the story's great though.
Okay.
4 is the Tomb. It's a chill map. It's casual. The only thing that sucks about it, in my opinion, is literally just the story. Everything else, it's whatever. And then last is Liberty Falls. Not a bad map at all. It's just that's the one I play the least.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I think that's interesting. So what I would like to really quickly touch on is Godzilla's hatred of Terminus. That was like a left turn. And then and that's fine. You can hate whatever you want or dislike whatever you want. I just was not expecting that. And then I want to get a couple of pro points towards Citadel because I think Citadel
The haters.
yeah, Citadel
we've been low-key hating on it.
was positive for Clarky and I think Godzilla as well. So I'd like to hear about that. So Terminus, hatred, let's go.
All right. So right off the bat, I hate the spawn room.
I hate all BO6 spawn rooms, to be fair. They all are nothing, but that's a whole different conversation. Go ahead.
But I played that map first, so you spawn in. There's no like dramatic fade in. It just kind of pops in from black. You've got an objective marker. You've got a world event. You've got characters talking to you. You've got the room to go and try and look at. I just felt like it was very overwhelming all at once. All the information it tries to present. So that kind of wasn't the greatest start, in my opinion. It's a giant map. I feel like you only ever use parts of it. I feel like I'm always either gravitating kind of to that courtyard area, and all the side islands are kind of. I rarely ever go to them outside of the Easter egg. There's that one part by I don't know the name of the area.
When you say
with elemental pop, I think it is.
When you say
Oops, sorry,
courtyard, do you mean like the basketball hoop or the trap, like where the cannon is?
Yeah, more by the basketball hoop.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even in public matches, I feel like everyone kind of gravitates towards that area, and for such a big map, I feel like not much of it gets used.
You said elemental pop, like the tower. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in
Where you
that
grab the
area.
syringe?
This is
Okay.
more of a nitpick, but my frame rate always drops when I walk through there, so I always avoid that that way. I don't know if everyone has that issue. I play on Xbox, so maybe it's just me.
There's your problem.
Lifelong
gotta-
Xbox fan.
You gotta buy a 5090 and turn on DLSS and have the AI upscaling. I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Then I
bro,
like
what's
Terminus.
your specs, bro? What's your specs?
What's your specs, bro? So you kind of hate the fact that a lot of the map's not used. The spawn room is not it. Like when you spawn in, you're not actually taking in visual information. You're taking an actual like audio, visual HUD crap. Like it's just a lot of crap overwhelming you all at once. What about like the amalgams and the wonder weapon and the boss fight and the Easter egg? Like, does that stuff affect your score?
I do like the amalgams, especially on that map. I thought they're challenging enough. They heal, but like if you deal enough damage at the right time, you can take them out pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't hate Terminus. I just, of the Black Ops 6 maps, it's the one I'm least likely to go back and play.
Interesting. Okay.
Like I feel like I would pick any of the others first.
I have a question. Okay. You say that one of your biggest issues with Terminus is just the overflowing of information when you first spawn in. But I find that issue with all 5 maps.
Mm-hmm.
Every map you spawn in, there's not really a nice big song, not a real entrance song. You have someone talking to you right away. You have an objective on your screen. I think that's every map. I don't think that's just Terminus.
Yeah, that's every map. I just felt like Terminus was the worst one.
Terminus is distinctively ugly. Like you're just in the back of the prison, and it's just like gray and because the power doesn't come on until you turn on that power machine, the Dark Eater crystal machine. So then it actually looks nice in there after that, but before it's kind of dark and ugly, and I don't know. I hate the spawn system in this entire game. Like the fact that you just load into a map like it's like multiplayer. It's so lame. I always think of like Dead of the Night when you look over the entire mansion and you see that dude like carrying the you can spawn there on the right side, or you can spawn on the left side and you see the painting and all that shit. It's so beautiful. And you're like, where the hell am I? But in Terminus and the Tomb and all these other places, they just spawn you in. It's not even a fade to black. It's a cut to black. And there's no grace.
And like the zombies are spawning like immediately. Like round 1 can be done in 30 seconds. And it's a problem on all the maps.
And you usually turn on the rampage inducer.
That's what she said. All right, so I do want to talk quickly about the Citadel love, because it seems like Legend and I think it was Coborium and I were kind of Citadel haters, and I will quickly tell you why I am a Citadel hater, because I think it promised me magic and I think it gave me not magic. And I was really hoping that there was going to be this like epic quest in terms of like the swords. And I thought, I was hoping that the owl was going to be like playing with the characters and fucking with them. And there was none of that. It was just like, oh, here's a sword and you got to run like you're on fire and you're like, it's over. Like, where was that majestic, that majestic aspect to building these wonder weapons? Boss fight, fucking awesome. Love that. But other than that, the map is kind of like unremarkable. There's no space where I look at the map and I'm like, damn, this is beautiful. It's just like, it's all pretty
really
looking.
Ugly color scheme, in my opinion.
It's not it's not my favorite color scheme either. But anyway, I'll shut up and let's go to Godzilla, because he was talking about Terminus. We'll do him, and then Clarky, you can go after that.
God, I mean, yeah, it's fine. Like I mentioned, there's kind of that nostalgia aspect to me, at least when I was first playing through the map. Like, like I said, I didn't really play Vanguard. I didn't get too invested into the Chaos story, but all these things like coming up in the old like Chaos music, and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. Maybe that's not a fair reason to like the map, but it worked on me. I love the Easter egg song. I want to throw that out there too. That's my favorite one so far.
Blade is so good. That sounds bad out of context, but the song is great.
I'm always careful about how I say that.
It's so hard, man.
Isn't the song called The
Kevin.
Dig?
What? No, that's the
that's the Tomb.
Oh, what's this
and
one called?
Slave.
Yeah, Slave and Citadel.
Yeah.
Cool.
The intel I thought was really
demonetized, but it's all good.
I really like the intel on this map too. I like how it kind of incorporated some real world history with the Knights Templar and everything. I thought that was really cool. And I kind of went down a rabbit hole of investigating that and trying to see how that fits into our Dark Ether story.
Yeah, I did the same. Just because
I like that. I like the story of the map and that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm trying to think just off the top of my head other things I love. I will say that I did not like the Pack-a-Punch camo at all. I don't think that's a very controversial opinion.
It has nothing to do with the map. The thing about the storyline part that you're talking about with the Knights Templar is I think it was underutilized. So the equivalent that I always give for this example is Dreisendrach. And think about how you're going through the quest with Richtofen and Dr. Groff is like screaming at you from, I don't know, somewhere. And from from back in time or whatever. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but he's speaking to you through the map, and it feels kind of like important and you feel like I'm pissing this guy off. What's going on? What do I have to do to like satisfy this? And inside of Citadel, it's just like Craft talking to you. And like I always said, what if we went in there and we turn open Pack-a-Punch and that blood ether crystal like awakens something with the owl spirit, and he's like, who are you? Why are you here? You're not my sons. Those idiot bastards, they could never live up to anything that I wanted to do. And then like our whole like mission was to kind of toy with this guy and get the bastard sons to give us these swords and overcome the owl who, you know, has the artifact thing that we're looking for. And I just felt like it was so underutilized and not cool at all. And I'm like, yeah, this because when you're in the boss fight, that's when the owl starts talking to you, and it's so fucking badass. Imagine if that happened the entire time. That would have taken Citadel from a 6 or whatever you want to give it, whatever I give it, to like a straight up 9 or a 10 in my opinion. But
this guy's cooking.
I think that's a great take. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's still kind of somewhat like the tomb with Archibald, unless you mean like the owl is actually alive and directly speaking to you.
Could be a spirit.
Well, first of all, Treyarch makes the story, so they can do whatever the hell they want. So they could have said, you know, maybe his soul or his spirit was like locked away, and we like activated it somehow because his 4 bastard sons. I'm just making up a hypothetical. His 4 bastard sons could have been the ones who were supposed to do it because it sounds like they were, because he leaves the messages for them. But what if his spirit was actually trapped away and his sons died and never did it, and he was waiting for them, but instead he encounters us? And so he like locks down certain areas of the castle for us to not be able to get into. We have to break through his magical powers to get into certain areas to get the elemental AAT things that we have in our hands. Just things like that could have been so exciting to have it feel like there's a self-contained story, a purpose for us to be at this map, because really the only purpose was to get Kraft and Franco, and the Franco storyline. Don't even get me started. It's such a waste of time. And so that's what I'm talking about, is having that self-contained experience with a greater narrative threading us through. And I don't feel like they have been really living up to that classic Treyarch narrative where each map had a self-contained story really until the Shattered Veil. There's probably a lot to dig into there. But
I still think it's an okay Easter egg. Like, there's not like specific Easter egg steps. It is still what is it? Just doing the swords. I mean, it keeps you busy for a while because there's so much that kind of goes into each one, especially in solo. But I still think the Easter egg is kind of fine, and I do kind of like the idea of it being this like long lost puzzle that was set up and never solved, and it's all like ancient history, and we're trying to solve like the mystery of where the Obscurus Altilium is. Like, I think it's all right.
Yeah.
Imagine if they did the thing remember in 9 where they had each the steps of the Easter egg be centered towards one of the god statues, and one of the gods had the Danish step and Ra, and then Zeus and Odin.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that with the bastard swords in Citadel? Have you get the swords and then use the sword for each certain step of that egg. And that could have been 4 individual steps to really flesh out that Easter egg. They could have done that.
But I know what you mean. I know exactly. I know.
Yeah, they kind of did that, but you're saying like do it even more.
But really, like they kind of did it in a sense, right? With like the interaction and giving the sword to the statue, and a little bit later in the egg. But like, I mean, actually, fully have each of them have their own tiny little quest. Yeah, each of them have their own kind of sort of puzzle to solve.
It's like they kind of do with the upgrades, but they're just so short.
They're one step. They're like you said, you're on fire, go run back.
There's only one where you have to look out of the game if you don't know the symbols and what they correspond with, and that would be the Raven Sword. But like the rest, you can solve real fast in the game itself, and they don't feel very accomplishing to build, I guess.
Yeah, they feel quick, and then the actual step, like after you build them, and then after you maybe interact, right, and interact with the statues, they could have done a step for each of them. It would have been so cool, but they didn't. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I guess they had to get the map done as fast as they could. I don't know when the map was ready, but maybe there was some time constraints.
I guess just to quickly wrap up Godzilla's section here, just I agree that having the puzzle in the way that it like like it's an ancient puzzle that was lost and we're solving. I don't think that's necessarily a bad premise. I just don't understand why we're listening to Kraft tell us about it instead of having the Owls pre-recorded footage or whatever he had on 4K, 4K 60 FPS, laid in that hidden chamber. I just thought it could have been more interesting if he was maybe he's pretending he's speaking to the brothers and we're just listening. It's like I don't understand why it's always like just through the radios giving us this information. Why is there no like epic like interaction between the map itself and what the characters experience? It's always some sort of like radio call, and even with Richtofen they did that too, which it's just kind of lame. It just feels like a cop out way to deliver information sometimes. But Clarky, Citadel Defender number 2.
Well, I'll say this at first. When Citadel first launched, I didn't give a shit. Like I straight up, like I did not care. Like I just never found any enjoyment for the map. But I started to go back through all the Black Ops 6 maps, and I was like, I haven't given Citadel a try. Let me play it, and I got addicted to it. I don't know why, but I always loved the Shadows of Evil swords. I love those swords. So when I heard that we were getting swords for Citadel, I was like, holy shit, this is going to be great. Problem is that they were weak. Obviously, they got their buff. It's not the hugest buff, but it's appreciable. So I was really happy. And I'm a sucker for like swords and shit. So honestly, I'm happy with them. The quest and Legend, your take, and Afterlife, your take, with the whole story under being utilized. The Owl should have been involved more instead of it just being craft, or even just have a good balance between the two. 100% agree with you on that. I think the story was okay. I like the whole Franco thing with being able to do a whole secret Easter egg with Maya specifically. I thought that was cool. I really did think that was cool. And then just in general, I feel like there should be more dedicated steps to the Easter egg where you need to use certain swords more, like Legend said, for example, because once you get the swords and you unlock that secret puzzle, you do the eye step where you need to go to 4 different eye traps and do the 4 lockdowns. That's it. It's just the boss fight, and that's when the Owl does start mostly talking. Aside from that, that's really it. I do like how the map looks. My only problem with that, I feel like we're only experiencing the first half of the castle. I feel like there was more areas of the castle that we could have explored, but there wasn't. But either way, I think the map does look nice. I like the spawn room personally of Citadel. It's just the only thing that kind of ruins it for me is the bar room where you would go get Wonder Fizz and stuff, and the Void Sword. But like the actual layout of it just being a simple circle, you're seeing this cool ass statue. I think it's fine. I think it's cool. But overall, I just really enjoy the map. Like I really couldn't give you like the best reasoning for enjoying the map a lot. I just love the swords. I think the quest is all right, not the best, not the worst. I just think it's definitely short if you just put everything put together. It's definitely the shortest.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's not a bad one. It's a good one. The boss fight's great. I love the boss fight. I almost wanted to break my controller a couple of times because I suck ass at that boss fight, but I enjoy it.
Wow.
And then in general, I think side quests were really disappointing within this map. There was hardly any. Even with the main ones, the main side quests being in there, they weren't really all that huge, to be honest, because I'm not really one for doing side eggs. I just don't see a point in doing them. But Black Ops 6 has really kind of changed my opinion on that. Like, I love the side quests in Terminus. Same with Liberty Falls. Citadel, I never felt anything for it. Liberty Fall, the Tomb, I like the side quests on that map. And then Shard Vale, I know there's still some being solved right now, so I won't give any opinions on that. But that's my pros and cons. Aside from that, I just like the map. I really don't have a really good reasoning, but that's all I'll say.
Sometimes you don't really need to have a reasoning. Sometimes like you can just vibe with the map, and that's literally it. And that's one of the components that I think, especially as content creators, like we're always thinking about gameplay and artistic design and what's Kevin Drew doing on LinkedIn, and like we're always like thinking about all these layers of the mode. And sometimes we just forget that there's like a piece of zombies that is unquantifiable, and that's like the soul or the essence or just a part of it that
Aura.
Yeah, the aura. Yeah. I'm a little too old for that, so I don't say that word. But but yeah, you know what I mean. There's just always a piece of it that you just connect with, and it's as simple as that sometimes. So
Sometimes you're allowed to just like things like Blood of the Dead.
Exactly.
Oh,
Finally.
There we go. Oh,
Like
brother,
Duron Fong
this
too,
guy
right?
stinks.
Yeah, Duron Fong 2.
Best
Exactly.
story map of all time, Blood of the Dead.
Exactly. See, Godzilla, we were friends with Blood, then we were not friends with Citadel, and now we're friends again. So it all comes back full circle,
As long as you keep talking about Blood of the Dead.
Friends
you'll be
again
friends
for
forever.
Duron Fong.
Oh, hell no.
All right, we're gonna get we've gone. I usually try to record for an hour, but since there were so many people, we've recorded all the main parts of the episode in it's been almost 2 hours. So I'm gonna get to the wrap up questions and then the lightning round. The wrap up segment of the show. I don't know how many episodes if you've seen the show or not, but usually for the wrap up, I just ask little general questions, and it's meant to have some quick answers, but you can elaborate if you need to. And then the lightning round is going to be just kind of quick gut answers. So for the wrap up questions, we'll go in order from Clarky, Godzilla, Legend, and Corborium, just so we can have some sort of order of operations here. But we'll start with what Zombies map or mode, if you happen to like MWZ or something, but what Zombies map or mode do you dislike the most?
Oh boy. Objectively, it'd be Duron Fong, but it's got to be the Darkest Shore for me from World War II Zombies. I can have a fun time with it, playing co-op, like definitely. I have a lot of good memories with it, but most of them are awful. So, from personal opinion, it has to be the Darkest Shore from World War II Zombies. I'm sorry.
Okay. Godzilla.
That's a tough one because I always try and find something good about every map. But just to try and give a quick answer, how about Infection from Exo Zombies, Burger Town?
That's
a good
fair.
pick.
Is there any reason why?
Just about everything.
Yeah,
Part of it's just
a good
Exo
take.
Zombie problems, but like the upgrading system, the survivor rescuing system, the EMP, the EMZs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The fact that it doesn't like form a circuit once you get to Burger Town.
Oh my god.
I just played it recently, so it's all kind of fresh in my mind. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
Okay.
I forgot.
All right, Legend. What about you? What map or mode do you dislike or hate the most?
I feel like I'm gonna piss some people off. Okay, I'll go non-Treyarch track. Non-Treyarch, I'll go Tortured Path. I think that's the worst ever. Tortured Path is horrible. It's kind of like it's like three little maps in one, and it's just it's not for me. And then if we go with Treyarch, my least favorite Treyarch map of all time is Dead of the Night.
Bro.
It's not Ascension? I thought it was Ascension.
No, I mean Ascension's like one I don't like that much. I kind of think Ascension's the most overrated in my opinion. But my least favorite is Dead of the Night.
I swear to God, if you give me the whole Pack-a-Punch is too hard, I'm gonna
No. It's not the backwards.
Gonna delete this recording. No, I'm just kidding. What is it?
Has to do with okay, all right. I'll be quick. It has to do with three main things. It's the characters of the map.
Based.
It's the bosses, specifically the vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm a big Easter egg guy, and I think some of the Easter egg is absolutely horrific.
Well, bro, if you had Omni movement on that map, then you could look under every table so easily. It wouldn't even be a problem.
Dude, I love finding scratch marks, man. Anyways, that's my big three. So I'll just leave it at that, and people can argue about that. And if I have to elaborate, I will.
Okay. All right. We're on to the next question then. So besides Treyarch, who do you think?
Whoa. What about Corborium?
Oh, did I not do you? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead. My bad.
What a host.
My least favorite
What a
is
host.
the Beast from Beyond. I truly can't stand that map.
That's based.
Did I say something? I heard someone say, "Whoa!" Did I say something bad?
No,
I don't actually understand the entirety of the hatred around that map. To be quite honest, I think it's a little lame, but I also look at DLC 4 of that year as that map plus, director's cut.
Oh,
That's true. It did give that. But as an Extinction lover, I'm not a fan with what they did with the Extinction stuff. And then outside of that, I think the map is really poorly balanced in a lot of its design decisions. Mainly
outside of the
zombie
director's
balance.
cut, that's a good point.
You know what I really like about it, and I felt pretty smart because I figured this out on my own, and I'm an idiot, so this says a lot. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, the boss is too hard on that map," and so I started thinking, like, if I was designing a game, this is when I first kind of started thinking about game design. I was like, what would I do to make sure people could like beat those bosses? And that P-Law explosive weapon, you can buy it in that map. It's like one of the only maps you can buy that weapon, and it works so good on the Rhino things. And so I just think little things like that in maps just help to give it a little bit of personality. But inside of Beast from Beyond, I think inside of Beast for Beyond specifically, I can't fucking talk right now. I think I don't know. I like the boss fight quite a bit, and I kind of like certain areas of the map, like the theater and going outside. I don't know. I don't really hate it. I really don't hate it that much, but I don't know. Okay, sorry, I forgot you. I didn't mean to.
I'm not upset.
I am a bad host. I will think about this for days, and it'll keep me up at night. So we're gonna go on to.
I'll just call you up. It's okay. It's all right.
Okay. Question number 2 is besides Treyarch, who is the best zombies developer? I know this is kind of a weird question, but if you think we have like MWZ, we have Exo Zombies, we have Infinite Warfare. Like there's kind of a lot of studios that have given zombies a crack, or at least have some sort of ideas about zombies that have bled into the franchise. So again, we'll start with Clarky.
Infinity Ward's Lee Ross, my goat, simple as plain.
Okay.
That's my
What'd you say?
that's it. I don't need to say much else. That is the goat right there.
Oh,
My man Lee Ross.
I thought Godzilla said something.
Oh, no, not yet.
Oh, my bad. I'm hearing things.
Time to shine. The 115 induced delusions.
Precisely.
My favorite non-Treyarch would probably be World War II zombies, so Sledgehammer.
Okay.
Sledgehammer's pretty cool.
They didn't do too great with the other attempts at it, but I like World War II.
They have a rough COD development like relationship with
Yeah,
that.
I think
Yeah.
Treyarch gets the short end of the stick, but it's really Sledgehammer.
Yeah, it's not their fault. They tried their best.
They've tried their best. I would go with IW as well. I think that's the best one. I think it's got a lot of ups and downs. Although shout out Descent. I think Descent is like a pretty good map.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm also Infinity Ward because even though I'm not a big fan of Infinite Warfare Zombies as a whole, I think it's the best one that isn't Treyarch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Lee Ross is the GOAT.
So
That's my bad.
would you guys like to see other studios like work on zombies, or do you prefer Treyarch to just kind of handle that?
100% other studios. 100%.
I kind of like it just being a Treyarch thing.
Ooh, that's a little bit of a spicy take. Okay. Why?
Well, for one thing, so we don't get zombies every single year.
Yeah.
And just more variety between the games. I kind of liked when Infinity Ward did Extinction because that was different, but still kind of
so cool.
Zombies-esque with the horror scary mode. Just something like if they got more creative and did something different other than just copying Treyarch's round-based zombies, I think that'd be neat.
I think you can do zombies as long as you don't copy it, right? I mean, you got to innovate off of it, right? IW went with the whole goofier and the whole like more lighthearted way, and
also
World War II went with the horror aspect. So if they don't try to copy and paste Treyarch's formula, I think that they can do zombies. But I agree with you. I think that they should try other things as well.
You guys have atmosphere though, like the gameplay, even down to like the point system is identical.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like they got to try new things. I think Extinction's a good example, something that I think would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It pains me because Infinite Warfare was supposed to have a sequel to Extinction, but they said, "Oh, we don't want aliens in our future game, so let's just do Zombies. I nearly had that
And I'm
sequel I've been
so glad.
begging for.
Koborum, do you think that Treyarch, or so you agree with Godzilla that other studios should kind of do whatever they want for their third mode, or what do you think?
I would like if the raid mode from Modern Warfare 2 came back, the 2022 one, or if they did Extinction again, or more Spec Ops, just not more zombies, because it'll lead to fatigue, and I don't want to feel that with zombies.
Make a good point.
Yeah, I do agree that there was fatigue from Black Ops 3 to Infinite Warfare, World War 2 to BO4. I also think when the studios copy Treyarch and they do certain things better than Treyarch. Obviously, like I'd say overall, they're not as good as Treyarch zombies, but they'll do some things better than them in weird ways. Maybe it's like certain point sharing, or maybe it's like rewards, or like having kind of 2 Easter eggs, like in some of the Infinite Warfare maps, like with Ghost and Skulls, like that's almost like its own quest in a way. Like there's certain things that they do better, but I really remember feeling fatigued because I was like, okay, new map, Easter egg, boss fight, new map, Easter egg, boss fight, and it does get fatiguing. So I don't necessarily give a rat's ass if they do zombies, but I would like some experimentation, even if one of them did like a Vanguard roguelite kind of system, but it was just like super flushed out, or Extinction or whatever. I just want studios to have agency over their third mode. And if they want to make zombies, they can. And if they don't, then they don't. Just having that creative agency.
Because zombies definitely has become part of the identity, but I don't think it has to be in every Call of Duty.
It definitely doesn't.
Exactly.
All right. Well, what is your craziest or hottest take about COD Zombies, Clarky?
Okay. If we're basing off of the Outbreak game mode, so take away the gameplay mechanics away from base Cold War and base Vanguard, I think they're just down to the wire. The game modes of how Outbreak works in Vanguard is better than the game modes of Cold War. My holistic. And, I prefer Cold War's Outbreak over Vanguard's. I do. Only because of Cold War's mechanics. Because Cold War's mechanics aren't bad. They're actually really good. Vanguard's are horrendous. But if we're just talking about the Outbreak game mode itself, Vanguard takes it to a whole nother level. You have a lot more variety. I like the hub world idea. I know it was just a multiplayer map, but at least they zombified it. I do appreciate that. On top of that, you have a lot more choices. You could choose which map to go to for your challenge and what challenge you want to do it, etc. So I do appreciate that more. Whereas in Outbreak and Cold War, I feel like you never had a choice. Like, of course, like there were side quests to do, like side challenges to do in the Outbreak and Cold War. That was one thing that Vanguard really didn't do well, which sucked. But the thing is, another thing Vanguard done well was they had a round-based version of Der Enfant and Terra Maledicta if you'd done the main quest on each of those maps. Did it improve anything? No. But it was a cool little thing if you were still interested. But I will openly say the base, just excluding all gameplay mechanics from both Vanguard and Cold War, the Vanguard Outbreak game mode is better than the Outbreak game mode in Cold War. That is my take.
That is definitely a take.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm aware.
I guess that's me. Well, other than liking Blood of the Dead, I feel like most people tend to hate like a lot of the new systems we have in Zombies, armor and salvage and all that. I don't dislike it. I think it's perfectly fine.
Based. True.
All right. I think
it's different than what we had before, but I think it works well enough. Could it be improved? Probably. But I think it's fine.
I just wish that some of the things that we bought, like we were saying before, it just went further than the crafting table, or went a little further than just an armor buy station. It's like
it would feel more like Zombies.
Being able to upgrade them, even like having some sort of, I don't know, maybe you could turn the armor elemental, like on Shattered Veil. There's some sort of ice armor plates that freeze zombies when they get hit. I don't know. Just make it.
The golden armor was
The
really
Winter's
cool
Whale.
too.
That's
That
a
was
good
cool.
idea too. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good idea. All right, Legend.
All right. Well, if I go, I have a couple fucking hot takes that I know that I get scorched for. Clarky kind of mentioned this one earlier. I think Ascension is a bottom 5 Treyarch map of all time. I think Ascension has a lot of issues. This is both BO1 and BO3, but this is specifically BO1. I'm not just going to say the basic thing like the monkeys, which are definitely issues, but I also think that the map itself is just boring. It's bland, it's gray, and even when you turn the power on and you get color, it's still gray as hell to look at. I like some of the Russian aspects. I like the sickle. The high rounds are way too piss easy. I think the map is just gray or less mess. I really do. I do not like Ascension. I think it's easy. I think the monkeys are annoying. I think no double tap for some reason makes no sense. I mean, it introduced stamina up in PhD. Cool story, bro. It's the first Easter egg, but the Easter egg is, I mean, cool story, bro. I don't like Ascension at all. I think Ascension's a bot. I think it's a shout out Dr. Grish. But I think Ascension's a bottom 5 track map ever.
I think you're a bottom 5 Treyarch map. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I was trying to actually give you a hot take. I feel like that's a very hot take.
It is pretty hot. It's funny because I've been going through all these old maps, right? And I was playing Ascension and I was like, holy shit, I love this. So it's just kind of weird to, like, I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, definitely a hot take. I'm a little offended.
It's okay. We could talk about it after class if you would like.
Right.
We can talk about it after school.
We will share our feelings. All right.
Say an I feel statement.
For me, I've alluded to it several times, I know, but I love Duran Fong unironically. I think it's fun. I think it gets overhated.
I thought my hot take was worse.
I think it looks good. I think it plays fine. It's better than Terra, which I don't like. I don't like Terra or the Archon, but that's because I think the setting and layout is
so
really boring.
ugly. It's so ugly.
I will say,
It's so ugly.
Vanguard's art is pretty nice. I won't lie.
The perk machines are cool.
those.
The perk machines are fucking awesome.
Yeah, those look cool. I think the sound design is awesome. Like if you just sit still in the Stalingrad area, it feels almost like BO1 Zombies to me. I don't know why. I just feel like it's creepy and lonely. I don't know. I think Duran Fong is fun. Duran Fun, if you will.
Wow.
You're the first only person that will ever say that in this zombies community. I'm so sorry.
There has been
No,
more.
I appreciate that it's an actual hot take. I appreciate the fact that it's an actual hot take.
There has been more Vanguard talk in this podcast than I think I've ever talked about in the whole entire series.
Vanguard's love is real.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to come up with
Defender.
another hot take? Because I thought of a better one.
I said about
Sure.
Vanguard.
Go right ahead.
Sorry to break the structure, but I like the Wonderwaffle glitch from World at War Darius.
What?
What
The
is
one
the,
that
is
The
it?
one that takes
reduces
away your
your health.
perks?
Oh, why?
Why?
I love that.
Why?
Punish you for using in close quarters. Is
Yeah.
that why?
It makes using the weapon so much like scarier. Like it'll hurt you just as bad as it'll hurt the zombies. And I love the fear I have using the thing.
Maybe now I understand why Max has feared the weapon too.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe,
Better than my Cold War salvage take.
I like the hot takes. You know, I read hot takes a lot. I have a whole thing where I read hot takes and I get so many lukewarm, muddy water takes that are like hot take, but Shattered Veal is only like a 7 out of 10. It's like that's not a hot take. Like, so I appreciate the hot take, man. I like it.
Yeah. There's
I've gotten a lot of flack for that one.
I used to try to, well, I still try to do it because I just think it's funny, but there are some people that just hate BO4 so much, and so I really like to kind of troll people with how much I love the mode. It is my favorite zombies mode for sure, but I like to kind of poke fun at it a little bit because people get so mad, and sometimes like the Twitter algorithm will pick up a tweet. And then all these people will just call me an idiot and a loser and a moron because I like it. I don't know. I think it's really hilarious to piss them off.
I love when that happens, dude. I love when people attack you for opinions. That stuff is so funny.
It's the
The
best.
zombies community
Yeah.
Where everyone's opinions are accepted.
Yep. We're a
Oh,
loving, accepting community for sure.
That's what we're known for.
And then
Oh,
I
yeah.
find myself being that person. I see someone on my timeline say something, and I'm like, "No, Moon's best map, dude. I love Moon. It's the greatest I've ever seen. You don't know nothing, dude. You're not even an OG. I played Black Ops 1." It's like, yeah, okay, I gotta
Oh, that
calm
might be me.
myself down.
Yeah, dude. Your opinion is better because you've been around longer. That's just how it works.
Oh, veterans discount.
How can you have an opinion on Black Ops when your first game was Cold War? Your opinion is invalid, dude. Dude, did you even beat the World at War campaign and get the Nocturne Toten zombie run? Do you even know what that is?
Exactly.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this isn't really a hot take. It's just I just think it's interesting. But I didn't play BO1 or BO2 during their life cycle, and so I like have missed out on the huge developmental era of zombies. I started at World at War, ended with Derice, and then restarted with Shadows of Evil. So
That's a really interesting.
Whoa.
Wait, that's jarring.
Quite a
That's
jump.
jarring.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I wonder how different that was for you to go from World of War to BO3.
it was. I fucking thought it was awesome because I always thought like when in zombies, I was like, man, I really like getting to round 30 was as high as I could get, and I was like, I really like this, but I just wanted to do more stuff. And then when I played Shadows and I was like collecting things and my mind was blown. I actually
Yeah, that stuff is cool.
I got to like fall in love with the game mode twice. Like it was kind of cool.
Beast mode was a culture shock, huh? Beast mode was a culture shock.
I didn't understand it. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. It was so confusing, but I kept playing it. I thought it was so awesome.
Love Shadows of Evil.
Yeah.
You bear the mark.
You're
You're cursed.
I was cursed for sure.
Put your hand up on the stone.
Okay. Now we're going to do the lightning round and let's just do the same order. Clarky, Godzilla, Legend, Corborium, and just one word quick answers. And then I'll ask the next question. And if you really feel like, a burning desire to share more, I don't really care. It's not the end of the world, but I just try to have this part be a little quick because I just think it's fun and maybe we can laugh about some stuff in between. So,
Sure.
All right. First question is, what's the most overrated zombies map of all time?
Shit. Give it to Tom Black Ops 1, baby.
Best map of all time.
Zombies map.
Oh, I'm scared to say. Mob of the Dead.
Oh,
Oh.
no, that's correct, by the way.
Well, I said Ascension, so I'm gonna stick to my guns. Ascension.
Okay.
Origins.
Okay. Now we got two goats in here. All right. Now we do the inverse. What's the most underrated?
To back against Legend, Dead of the Night.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
God damn it.
Sorry, bro.
Hmm. Is Moon considered underrated or disliked at least?
By some
Maybe
people.
BO1.
Yeah, by some people.
I feel like some people really hate that map.
I think it's
Yeah,
pretty
one
split.
off.
Yeah.
I love it. So
Mauer. I think Mauer is like considered mid, but I think it's like top 5 ever.
That's a hot take right there. That should have been number 4. No, I'm just kidding.
I think Mauer's top.
Klaus.
It's got Klaus, dude.
I do like Klaus.
I hate him.
My answer is
How do you hate Klaus?
He treated me awfully during C4C3.
Oh, that's true.
Kaborian, what'd you say?
Oh, mine's Zetsubo.
Okay.
Spaced.
Zetsubo, I feel like is getting a little popular, is getting a little love.
It is aged well.
Yeah.
It is aged
It
well.
has.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's
I
cool.
think people hated Zed a lot just because of its launch and because it's got a lot of doors.
100%.
But if you actually play that map, it's very fun.
The only thing I hate about it is the Thrashers can make more of themselves and that you need a gobble gum to do the Easter egg, which is more of a nitpick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that Jason took risks. That's the one thing you got to give Jason credit for is he was all about the risks. And I don't think that the current developers are really as into risk taking. And I don't know if that's just because
And Jimmy.
they're playing it too safe.
Jimmy for
And
sure.
Jimmy was animal.
Jimmy
Double
is, he might have taken too many risks, but that's fair.
Transit.
Okay.
Jimmy was definitely high every time he made a map, dude. That dude had some of the craziest fucking ideas I've ever seen.
He was so good at balancing. I've had a newfound appreciation of his maps because I'm experiencing them kind of almost for the first time in a way. But just he really knew how to make the map feel treacherous. Like I said that word before, like oppressive. It's just there's something always out to get you, and even if you feel like you are in a place where you can defend yourself, even earning your offensive capabilities somehow hurt you.
Here comes George.
Yeah, he's really clever. I'm glad that we don't have that style anymore, but he was really clever for the time. All right, next question: perk limit versus no perk limit.
If it's cool, if it's how it works in Cold War and BO6, no perk limit.
Perk limit, easy.
I see perk limit too, unless there's an Easter egg that allows you to get it. But I'd say no perk limit. I mean, no perk limit.
Also, no perk limit.
Okay, that hurts a little bit, but you know, here we are. Here we are. Okay, shield versus armor.
Shield.
Oh god, I'm gonna go with armor.
Shield,
I guess. Yeah.
Based. All right, I had to change this course. I had to change this question because now that we have double tap, my question before was double tap versus rarity system. But I mean, I guess you could still kind of ask it, but because modern double tap doesn't just double your damage. But I'm not going to ask it. So I guess now I would say, and this depends a little bit on the game as well, but loadout versus pistol.
Pistol.
Yeah, I guess pistol.
Don't fall for the pressure, man. If you want to say loadout.
I was thinking about it as you were asking it. I think I agree with the pistol, even though I like loadouts, but I think the pistol is better.
Okay. All right. What perk would you like to see reintroduced in Black Ops 6 Zombies? It could be something new that you have in your head, or it could be a reused idea.
First one that comes to my head is Mule Kick, but with the upgrades from Cold War.
Okay.
Blood Wolf Bite from Black Ops 4.
Oh,
I think that's the name.
I should have said that.
That was gonna be my answer.
I've wanted it since Cold War.
I want there to be a perk about the armor. So the best one I could think of is Victorious Tortoise.
Okay.
Like something to do with the armor system instead of the shield.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah. Widow's Wine, because I really want to see what new design they come up with for the perk machine.
So
that'd be really cool.
I've been thinking about that for a while, okay? And I don't think they're ever going to bring back Widow's Wine because they turned it into Winter's Wail, and then Winter's Wail is just Frostblast. And I want them to bring it back so bad. I love Winter's Wail or Widow's Wine or whatever you want to call it, but the
armor
field
is kind of the armor really.
I think they might have considered it for Modern Warfare because
there was Elite's logo.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I own it. I know it comes with, I think, a Walmart version of the game, but there is a logo of sorts, and it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. I hope they bring it back.
A patch too with the special editions of the game, or maybe I'm making that up.
It was in a patch. You're right. It was in a special physical copy. There's like a little.
Yeah, my friend sent me it from the States because it wasn't sold up here in Canada.
Oh,
which sucks.
They also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think BO6 has like a hardened edition, like the hard physical case. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
They
just have the skins and the bonus edition.
I think they've only done that for the Modern Warfare games these past few years.
Yeah, Black Ops 6 got shafted on that. But
Cold War have one?
Yeah, Cold War had one.
I don't think so. Did it?
I don't think so. Black Ops 4 had the box. I remember that.
Yeah, I have that. It screams at me every time I accidentally open it.
Hell yeah.
What? I don't think Cold War has one.
No, Cold War didn't have a special. So, usually there's a standard, a hardened edition, and then a special edition. The hardened edition was just like a hard case, like a metal case. But then the special edition was like the Juggernaut or the Juggernaut fridge or the mystery box.
Yeah. Sad that I didn't get that.
The Juggernaut fridge.
Juggernaut fridge is legendary.
My
I didn't
biggest
have money.
regrets.
I'm gonna get one eventually. I'm gonna buy one on eBay. So
I was 11.
that's I hate. This is why I hate being the oldest guy in the zombies community. Every time somebody's like, I was like 8 when I played Keener to Toad, and I was like, bro, I was literally like 500 already. But okay.
No.
So anyway, back to the questions. So
Yep.
we only have a couple left. So let's get through them. We got, what is your favorite consumable system? And let me kind of clarify this a little bit. I'm just talking about the system itself and experience to gameplay. So BO3 gums, BO6 gums, Infinite Warfare FNF cards, World War II's D-pad bullshit, or elixirs. Like what do you love the most?
Black Ops 6 Gobblegums.
I'd probably go Black Ops 3 Gobblegums.
I would probably say BO3's Gobblegums. They were just more unique.
Yeah, I'm also BO3 Gobblegum enjoyer. Find they have more use.
That is the correct answer for your own opinion. I'm just kidding. All right. We got 2 more. And this one I always find to be interesting. Should open world zombies come back?
Yes, if done right.
Yeah, I agree. If it's done well, sure.
I'm gonna say no. I just don't see a world where they're gonna do it right. I don't think they ever would, so no.
Yes, if it's not anything like Modern Warfare Zombies.
See,
I would want a Helldivers-esque game.
That would be sick.
I would like it for Extinction, but if they made it for zombies, I'd be fine with that.
Now I want an Extinction one too.
I feel yeah.
I actually think MWZ's gameplay loop was pretty good. I think the problem was they just dropped all support of it so quickly that it had no chance to thrive. I mean, imagine if there was open world enemies, like other than the Red Worm, there was other bosses and
the Orda.
You find the map boring in MWZ?
I think it became boring. It's just the map has to have events, has to be alive. It needs to change. It can't just be the same. And have you guys ever played Diablo 4?
No.
Well, that map, it's like a giant open world map with like specific POIs, and they have like specific events that come in called like Hell Tides, which turns a section of the map blood red, and enemies have like, I think they can do more damage, and there'll be like certain world bosses in there, and you have to like collect things from these enemies and dump them into crates that will give you rewards, and then you can obviously go and do like campaign missions and stuff, and like it's this whole open world RPG experience. And I think that Modern Warfare Zombies could have actually taken a page out of that book and kind of crafted an ARPG type experience with those events and storms coming in, and maybe even moving the highest difficulty zones around, or maybe there's like an event where it crashes, like something crashes in there and we can't go in there, so we have to like do other things. Like they just didn't do shit with it, and they just did that same copy and paste Dark Ether Rift, and I was like, okay, that's okay, but you could do way more with it.
That idea actually sounds pretty fun. I think that'd be a good time.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, if I could just go to Treyarch for like a week, I would set them all straight, guys. I got your back.
Fire fans.
Thank you. You're saving us.
Thank you. All right. Last question. And this is my favorite question of all time. Sometimes it causes tension, sometimes it doesn't, but we'll see. You have to eliminate a zombies era from history. Either Zelensky's era, Blundell's era, or the current era with Kevin Drew.
Damn.
Oh no.
That's not fair.
Damn.
I don't like this question.
Option to pass.
Fuck.
I'll go first.
No.
Fuck it. Just kidding. No, Clarky, if you want to go first, go ahead.
I'm immediately saying Zelensky's because one, I didn't lock in with zombies 24/7 during that time, like I said at the start of the podcast. Jason Blundell's I did, and then of course I made a lot more memories from BO4 and onwards to where we are now. I've made so many great memories, made so many. So I will unfortunately have to say Jimmy's.
It's okay. It's all right.
You killed him.
Feel like I'd have to go with the modern era.
Dead.
All
I
right.
feel like that would be the least painful one to lose. And plus, with the Jimmy and Blundell eras together, you get a full story from beginning to end.
That's a
Whereas
really good point.
True.
Modern kind of it builds upon the original, kind of, but it's also not finished yet.
Got a point.
I would also do the modern era. I think that I wouldn't make videos if it wasn't for the eras before it, before the blend. I wouldn't be doing YouTube. I wouldn't be everything like that. And it just going off gameplay. I think of my favorite maps ever. Yes, I know Maratone, but I think of my favorite maps ever, and I think of my top 20, and I would say 19 of my top 20 are maps that aren't from this current era. Although I do like Theme Machine. So I love Mauer. So I don't know. I just think that there's more quality in the other two eras than there are now.
I think my answer is going to be controversial then. Because
I already know what he's gonna say.
I would choose Blundell only because
It hurts.
Oh my god!
Not Blood of the Dead.
I know it's
Blood
gone.
of the Dead.
But you see, guys, Duran Fong has to stay intact. No, because I have a lot of memories with the Zelensky maps, and that era of the lore is when I was locked in the most. And then for the Kevin Drew stuff, I've met a lot of new friends since then, and that's when I started doing my videos and stuff.
Well, you just ended a lot of those same relationships, my friend.
Yeah. Damn it! This guy thinks Origin's the most overrated too. Get him out of here!
It's a good map. It's just no one ever stops talking about it.
It's the best ever. It's the best.
That was pretty good.
Sorry.
That was good.
It's also Blundell.
See, that's why I like this question, because it really shows you who your friends and your enemies are, you know?
That's
I need time.
public enemy number one.
I need time to myself now.
Yeah. Well, that is going to do it for today's show. The one lady and gentleman who all watch this podcast, I appreciate you all. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. If you'd like to, why don't you guys shout out your channels, or if you have any final thoughts you'd like to say, we'll go in that same order, and then we'll say goodbye.
Thank you all so much for watching this amazing podcast. Afterlife, thank you for inviting us all. That question at the end, I think, held all of our souls. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
But we hope you all enjoyed our hot takes, especially me and Carborium's Vanguard ones.
I'm only speaking truth.
No, hell no. Anyway, but we hope you all enjoyed, and thank you, Afterlife, for bringing us on.
Well, yeah, thank you, Afterlife, for inviting me. I appreciate it. And to everybody who did watch. This was a very new experience to me, but I am glad to have been a part of it.
Oh shit, is that my cue? Okay. First off, if you are watching this video 2 hours in and you aren't subscribed yet, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Hey, there's a red button down there. Hit that fucking subscribe. All right, I'm done. Okay, anyways. My name is Legend HD on YouTube if you want to find me. And subscribe to this channel. And I appreciate you. I make zombie videos, and I read people's hot takes and clown on them really hard, and then cry after I'm done recording. But thank you for letting me on this video. And yeah, we'll see what happens, and hopefully Zombies takes the next step. And I appreciated the invite, and I loved everyone, all the guests on here. Hopefully we all work together again soon.
Woo!
As everyone else has said, but thank you for inviting me on the show. This has been a huge honor, to be honest. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So, as Legend said, you better subscribe, or I'll find you. I'll send you to the dark ether.
I need to hear more of that. You're like, I need to say that.
Never subscribe.
Okay. We got some work to do. It's okay.
No, it was great having you guys all on. This podcast has been really fun. I really enjoy that the community seems to like it. That means a lot to me because I love really being able to talk to all you guys and get all these different opinions because, you know, we've all been playing this mode for so long, and you kind of get a one track mind of like how you kind of feel about things and what you look for in certain games. And so it's really helped, you know, not only shape my opinions, but expand my worldview. And so I really appreciate that. And I just want to say thank you for your time. And for all those who are watching, we appreciate you, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, everybody. Peace out.